Coming up next is the biggest MassCAC test of the year for the Corsairs as they welcome in the Framingham State Rams on homecoming weekend from a soggy Cressy Field. Is coming up next on DCTV.
Cressy Field, I'm Jim Thompson. He's John Cabral. Today, Framingham State in town to take on the Corsairs. Biggest game of the year thus far for the locals.
It certainly is that for the Corsairs. This is their fourth year in this conference, and until they go out and win a MassCAC title, this is always going to be the measuring stick. They're 0-3 in this series. Once they can get a win against Framingham, it will put them on the map in this league, but it hasn't happened yet. Today's another opportunity.
It's been a lousy weather day here in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. Weather doesn't seem to be going to get much better. The wind now has picked up, drizzle on and off. UMass Dartmouth, one of the best running games in the country in Division III. Suits their game.
It certainly does, and I had a chance to talk to the coaching staff a little bit before this game got going. Not just a bad weather day here, Jim, but it's been really a bad weather week. So they've been able to get out here on the turf. They've been able to simulate the conditions that they've had today. They've been throwing it around as well, but they will look to go with that running attack because they've got all the horses in the barn today with Roy, with Slaughter. They've also got Sheridan back today, so there's a lot they can throw at this Framingham defense.
Well, John and I will be right back with today's action in just a moment. Of UMass Dartmouth football. Today, it's Plymouth State in town to take on the Corsairs. I'm Jim Thompson alongside John Cabral, and welcome to North Dartmouth, Massachusetts on this wet and soggy afternoon. 5 o'clock start. Should be a good one, John. Framingham State 2-0 in the conference. They sit on top. UMass Dartmouth looking for a much-needed win in conference play here today.
Yeah, and there you got to look at what we're up against here today weather-wise, as it is pretty soggy, but the worst of it seems to have subsided. It wasn't really raining down on us, more of a blowing mist when we were shooting our open. And the temperature is steady in the low 60s, 61 degrees here at kickoff. Supposed to hang in right around here for the duration of the game. So it might take these players a few minutes to get acclimated to it. But, once the ball is in the air and that clock starts rolling, it's just going to be another day at the office for them. So it looks worse than it really is in that shot right there. And one thing that I noticed at pregame, Jim, is the new turf surface. This is the first year. This is Field Turf 2.0 here at Cressy. Really in remarkable shape. Not wet at all, no puddles, nothing of the like. This is actually the third game being played on this field today, and it's holding up tremendously well. So a tip of the cap to the folks in UMass Dartmouth's athletics department that insisted on getting that down for this year, as this would have been a much tougher game to get in last year.
So UMass Dartmouth won the toss. They elected to take the ball in the second half, so they'll start kicking this ball away, and we are underway here at Cressy as the ball comes down to Wright. And Wright is still on his feet as he gets across the 35 and be finally taken down at the 40-yard line. 27-yard return, 1st and 10 for Framingham State College. So, John, they'll spot the ball just across the 40. First series of the game for Framingham. Zach Walker gets the start at the quarterback spot for Framingham. Two-back set. And on first down, they'll run it to the right, and that's Offley. And Offley's going to lose a couple on the first down carry. Alex Ortega making a tackle for the Corsairs. The defense been pretty good the last couple of games, John. First down carry, they lose 3.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. We saw that in the Hartwick game time and time again, just an inability to get them into long downs and distances. And once you can do that, get them into second in a bundle, that's how you can get off the field quickly. Much more likely that you'll see a pass now.
Their offense is basically 50-50 run against the pass. But here on second down, they run it one more time and perhaps back to the line of scrimmage. That's Offley again. That was Methuen. He's the leading tackler for the Corsairs. It's going to bring up third down and 11. You would think perhaps a passing down here, John.
You certainly would. You wonder a little bit with the wet track, if the team doesn't want to take a risk on the very first series, if maybe they try to play early for field position. But you'd have to think, passing just is taking over the college game more and more by the year. You'd have to think 3 snaps, you're bound to see one eventually.
Here's Walker. He's got time, throws it out there to the right, and it's caught along the far sideline. That's a gain of 15 and a first down. Hauling that in was Mike Colicchio, and he's got 12 receptions coming into this one, so he picks up the lucky 13th catch and a first down.
He did a great job coming back to the ball as well. Got the man coverage they wanted on the outside and just enough time to get that throw off.
First and 10 is Offley, and Offley's down to the 40-yard line. He rips off a gain of 5. Be second down and 5 now for Framingham. Brandon Miller there to make the stop defensively for the Corsairs.
And this is the thing about allowing those third and longs is all of a sudden you set your opponent up to play the type of game they want to play. All of a sudden, no field position problems, no down and distance problems. They're at the 40 going in, and they can run whatever they want. So despite those 2 good plays to get it started, you've got your back against the wall already just 2 minutes in.
This is the jet sweep, and UMass Dartmouth reads it wonderfully. Anthony LaRose there to make the stop on the ball carrier, Will Cadre. And we have a flag down here at the 43-yard line as well.
Flag coming out wider than you normally see it on a running play. It's out by the numbers. Usually if it's a holding penalty, it's in there between the tackles. Maybe a block in the back out in this neighborhood. Officials are mic'd up, as you heard, but they're still conferring.
Block in the back, offense, number 67. That penalty's declined. Holding, offense, number 57. Penalties accepted, 10-yard penalty, second down.
So there's one of each called there, a block in the back and a holding, and the Corsairs decline the block in the back because that actually saves them a couple extra yards. That penalty is 10 from the spot of the foul, so that would have given them credit for all the yards they gained and then moved it back, where holding is just straight from the line of scrimmage 10. So a good call there by the UMass Dartmouth sideline. And Coach Robichaud, as that's going to move it all the way back to midfield.
Second down and 15 now for Zach Walker, quarterback for Framingham State. 3 to the top of your screen, 1 to the near side. Walker's got time, throws it out there to the right. It's caught down inside the 40-yard line. Scott Tupper back there in coverage. Smith on the reception. They're going to mark him down at the 39-yard line.
Pretty generous spot as it gives them all the penalty yardage back plus 1. So despite the fact that they were backed up, now all of a sudden you're looking at just 3rd and 4. And there was a flag on the field, but it was actually just one referee throwing it to another. So not an actual penalty on the play if you saw it on the laundry.
Walker, a little screen here to the near side. It's completed. That's Miller, and Miller's taken down at the 35-yard line. That's going to be very close to the first down they were looking for.
Yeah, and that's just one of those pick plays over on the Framingham side. As Stephen Bean, you can see him throw the block as the pass is being thrown, number 24, the interior receiver, and that's why you don't see an opponent. Sometimes it gets flagged, sometimes it doesn't. You roll the dice. Framingham has it come up aces right there, and so they're still moving.
4th and less than a yard. Framingham will go for it. And they hand it off to the lone running back, and I don't think that he made it. That was Dominic Cassell, and I think Johnny's a yard short. I don't think he made it.
Corsairs certainly celebrating like it, and the teams are changing sides. Let's take another look. You can see where that far stick is. They had to get all of the 40-yard line in order to keep it going, and the Corsairs did a nice job of walling that off. I think he was lucky to get back to the 41. So great early stand there by the Corsair defense.
Now, if you haven't watched UMass Dartmouth on offense, you're not going to have time to go get a soda or a bag of chips. They run the ball, and when they get back to the line of scrimmage, they run it again. And you have to watch him. Here's Burnham off the ball fake, and Corey's got himself a big gainer. He's got a 17-yard gain and a first down. First play from the line of scrimmage from UMass Dartmouth. This is a good one.
Yeah, I don't know if this was intentional or an accident, and they probably won't tell us the truth, but Sheridan certainly looked like he was supposed to take the ball there, and Burnham makes either a late decision or a very good fake.
Here's Stephen Roy, his first carry of the game. He gets down to the 41-yard line.
Well, you called it, Jim. They're going to go up tempo here. They want to get a personnel package on the field that they can attack for Framingham, and they think they've got it right away.
That was a gain of 6. Now Burnham's going to throw, and it's caught. Picked up beautifully by Bambos. Beautiful catch. He stretched out. Another first down for UMass Dartmouth.
It's maybe the most forceful play-action fake I've ever seen. They really made that look like they were going to run.
And Burnham's got the football, and Corey's got himself a first down and more as he rips off a run of 14 and another UMass Dartmouth first down.
All right, so maybe it wasn't an accident on that first play then, Jim, because he has really oversold the fakes 3 times now. They must have gotten something in their scouting that led them to believe that that would be effective for them, and now a flag.
Prior to the snap, false start,
So
offense, number
UMass
75.
Dartmouth,
5-yard
false start.
penalty, still first down.
One of the issues with UMass Dartmouth, John, on this very young season, they're averaging 147 yards a game being penalized. That's an awful lot.
Right, which tells you not only are they having a lot thrown against them, but they're getting not just the nickel and dime ones, but the 10s and 15s.
Burnham, ball fake, throws, incomplete. Bambos was the intended receiver. Bartolo in the secondary was the defender. So it'll bring up second down now and 15 yards to go for UMass Dartmouth.
The thing to keep in mind with this long distance is that you are in field goal range if you can shorten it up a little bit.
Here's Stephen Roy looking for running room. Roy's got room. Stephen Roy down and in for a UMass Dartmouth touchdown. Stephen Roy gets the Corsairs on the board as they take the opening possession against the #1 team in the conference, John, and knock it home for 6.
Well, Roy had to score that one 12 on 11. The umpire didn't do him any favors. Stood in there, and the umpire almost makes the tackle on that play. Take another look at this here. He runs into the umpire and has to shoo him away in order to approach those final 5 yards. Terrific job by Stephen Roy, undaunted to hit Bader.
Trask now in for the point after touchdown, and it hits the upright. No good. Hit the right upright and bounced to the right.
Yeah.
So with 10 minutes and 4 seconds to play in the opening quarter, the homestanding Corsairs here on homecoming, John. They got the lead. They looked razor sharp. All set up by their defense on the 4th and 1.
And not just the 4th and 1, but I was impressed that they were able to stop the 3rd down pick play shy of a first down. I thought initially that was going to be an easy first down, but they were able to prevent any extra gain, got the 4th down there. And got to say, on the special team side of things, this is becoming a big concern for UMass Dartmouth. It seems like any time we do one of their games, they're missing a first half extra point. I mean, it's up there with death and taxes at this point. And it's just something that they've got to get corrected if they're going to win games like this against the upper level competition in this league. So 5 minutes in now, Corsairs have got themselves a lead. Can they turn this into a game where they can play with the lead comfortably for a lot of the game? Becomes the question, because they can definitely play up to the level of the competition. It's just you don't want to be chasing a bad score the entire afternoon. So that makes this series very important to that end.
There's the slight drizzle here at Cressy. Lights are on. Corsairs take the football and march it 60 yards downfield for the opening score of the game. They lead it by a score of 6-0, and this is Wright. And Wright's got running room as he gets across the 35, still on his feet. And the ball is out. And UMass Dartmouth is claiming they have it.
The officials have yet to indicate if there was a fumble or not. And they're spotting the ball, but they've yet to indicate one way or the other now. They're saying UMass Dartmouth ball. It's a big return there by Wright, Jimmy, and he was actually the MassCAC Special Teams Player of the Week last week, so you see what he can do with the ball in his hands, but does he hang on to it going to the ground becomes the question. No, that ball certainly would appear to be out before his arms are on the ground. Tough to tell with that left knee, but these plays are not subject to replay review at this level. So it is Corsair ball, and a tremendous job by this coverage team for the Corsairs, which is something Mark Robichaud said in his pregame interview, that he looked at the kickoff team as a plus advantage in the special teams game.
Here's Corey Burnham, and Corey's off to a good start running the football, and this he rips off another 5 yards for UMass Dartmouth.
Another consequence of the turnover is you have no time to go over any corrections over on the bench there. They need to have a diagram for them what Burnham's fake looks like, because they keep falling for it.
And here's Sheridan, and Sheridan cracks down inside the 30, down at about the 27-yard line where he's tackled there. Sven Jacobson, the tackler. And this is going to be about a half a ball short of the first. Now they're saying let's move the chains. 1st and 10 for the Corsairs. And here's Sheridan again, and he's got another solid run. Aaron Owens Jr. on the stop for Framingham State, but John, it's 5 and 6 yards every time they give it to you, whether it's Burnham or one of the backs. Framingham State can't stop them.
That's exactly right, and they're doing it between the tackles as well, which is a very good sign for this offensive line.
2nd down and 6. Here's Stephen Roy. Has the only score in this ball game as he gets it down to the 20-yard line. He's going to be about a yard short of that 1st down. So it'll bring up 3rd down and short. Marchette on the tackle for Framingham. Mike Slaughter in the game now. And here's Stephen Roy looking for the corner. Roy's got the 1st down as he's hauled down there. Chris Dagg making the tackle for Framingham, but another 1st down.
And something we've consistently seen and liked is there's only so many carries to go around with all these talented running backs, but they're not competing with one another. Mike Slaughter, who very easily could be getting all these carries, throws a block like a fullback on that play to spring it for 1st down.
Here's Burnham off the ball fake, and Corey is down inside the 1-yard line.
He kind of fell in the way you would if you were scoring a touchdown, but you saw he just didn't hit the blue paint. So the Corsairs are celebrating, but he just didn't quite make it. Tremendous play, though. Again, Burnham has gone right between the hash marks just about whenever he's wanted to. And
it's Sheridan on the 1st down carry. John, doing the color for a UMass Dartmouth football game, if you get paid by the word, you wouldn't have much of a pay at the end of the game. They run their play so quickly, it's tough to analyze what the viewer at home just saw. Burnham looking back to the bench.
This is one of very few times that he's consulted with the sideline. He's been pretty much rolling with the script so far.
2nd down and goal here for UMass Dartmouth. Roy and Slaughter are your runners. That's Roy in motion, takes the pitch. Stephen looking for the end zone. He walks in for the 2nd score of the game.
Now it's Chris Dagg, who he just faked out of his shoes on the outside. Watch Dagg, number 13, has the opportunity to make an open field tackle, just has to break down and wrap him up. Roy just gives him the inside juke, and Dagg just cement feet. Touchdown Corsairs, yes, exactly. The Matador defense, as they call it.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
What's that Notre Dame game today? Their defense still is not very good. High snap. Trask rides it up, and this time he gets it through. So UMass Dartmouth up in this one early, 13-0. Their first score came on stopping them on 4th and short. Their second score comes off a turnover, special teams.
Right.
So everybody's contributing in this one, which is a great way to start this ball game.
And turnovers are great, and this UMass Dartmouth defense has had a knack for finding them over the years, but you've got to make them hurt. I mean, you've got to hit them in the wallet and put 7s on the scoreboard when you get those chances, and you see why now, 13-0. So whatever Framingham had for a game plan coming in, they're going to have to tear it up, and they're going to have to throw the ball probably more than they'd planned, because this is the role reversal. We've seen the Corsairs get behind by big gaps early in games here and then have to play to try to come from behind the whole time. To force Framingham to do that, we'll see just how composed they are mentally. Are they able to stick within themselves without coming unglued? You're only halfway through the first quarter, but 13's a big gap. So
UMD with a 13-0 lead. going to kick it back to Framingham. And Framingham may be stunned, John, early in this one.
They flipped it. They moved Wright, who was the kick returner the last time, who fumbled it, to the near side of the field.
And picking it up at the 8 is Thomas. And Thomas advances it across the 25-yard line out to the 28, where the Rams will have it 1st and 10 with just under 7.5 minutes to play, and they trail by 13.
Rams suddenly in a pretty urgent situation here where they need to find their way around, at the very least, a productive drive to flip the field position, but more likely they need to score some points here so they can get into the flow of the game and keep pace.
And they run it on 1st down, and here's Offley. And Offley's out to the 39-yard line where he's wrapped up there. Sam Bullock making the tackle, but it's a 1st down run for Framingham. They move the chains along the far sideline. Trayvon Offley, graduate of Brockton High School. Saw him play against the Indians at Dartmouth High. Very, very good player. 3 to the top, 1 to the near side for Framingham State. Here's Offley again, and perhaps back to the line of scrimmage. David Collins in there for UMass Dartmouth. Vargas as well. Call it 2nd and 9 for Framingham State. This first quarter just flying by, John.
Certainly is, and that's part of the strength of this rushing attack for UMass Dartmouth, is they can control the clock and they can control the pace of game. They've done that to this point.
They're going to throw it out here to the near side. That was intended for Napoleon Miller. And now it's going to be 3rd and 9.
Saw a big hit on the quarterback delivered by David Collins on the follow through there. And Framingham, you know, they've only thrown it a couple of times, but so far Walker is showing you a pretty serious tendency that he's favoring Napoleon Miller. That's been his top target today and has been really his first read, his first look to throw. And if the Corsairs can figure out that he's, you know, overlooking in that direction, you could see some big things happen in the secondary.
Miller's their leading receiver, 25 catches coming into this one. Throws out there to the far side, just over the outstretched arms of Napoleon Miller, and the defense stalls him again. Framingham State has to kick it away.
So you've seen 3 passes, all 3 of them have gone to Miller. So I think if you're the Corsair secondary and you're in your meeting on the bench now, you're going to say, all right, we're going to take this kid away and make them throw it effectively to somebody else. And if you can give him a little more attention, you might see a pick here in short order.
Scott Tupper back deep for UMass Dartmouth, stands at his 20. Low snap, here comes the rush, and he just about gets it off, and the punter is down, and so are the flags. And they're going to down it at the 40-yard line.
Matter.
UMD almost had the block.
You just have to remember the situation in the game. When you're ahead by 13, you don't really need a block. Unless you're absolutely certain you're making contact with the ball, you've got to pull up here because that's going to be, it might only be 5, maybe. Got him in the leg, didn't really
Personal
run him
foul.
over. Nope.
Defense.
First down.
Roughing the kicker. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
I understand you get caught up in the moment, you break through, nobody blocks you, but you know, unless you're absolutely certain you're going to make a block there, you can't run the risk of that penalty. If you don't make contact with him, remember, it's on the follow-through. The punt was down at the Corsair 40-yard line. You'd be with the ball ahead by 13 and already almost halfway down the field to scoring again, just at the risk-reward just way out of whack.
First and 10 for Framingham State. Calicio in motion. They hand it right to the lone running back, and he rumbles down to the 41-yard line. That's Trayvon Offley.
Sometimes we struggle to figure out who made the tackle. If you ever see a guy flip head over heels and land on his back, chances are Marvy Mathurin's the guy that made the tackle, just for you guys watching at home. Pro tip, if you're trying to figure out who's making the plays. If you see that, good chance it was number 8. And it was right there.
Zach Wright taking his time as UMass Dartmouth blitzes on this particular defensive front and awfully cracks down to the 38-yard lines. That's David Collins once again for the Corsairs. John, they're going to spot at the 39, 3rd down and 5 for this defensive UMass Dartmouth to hold.
And Framingham's trying to confuse UMass Dartmouth's defense by showing different personnel packages. They've flipped where they've put the receivers a couple of times now. And on that last play, you saw them go with the pistol, which was a little bit different because you had not only the running back behind the quarterback, but you had one parallel with him as well. Corsairs seemed to identify what was coming there. They brought that run blitz from the side where the ball went and had that one sniffed out pretty good.
Wright gets rid of it quickly and throws it behind his intended receiver. That's Miller once again. John has alluded to. That's their favorite target. This time, timing of that was just a little off. He threw it behind him.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to wonder why. I mean, if he's a guy that catches everything, all right, that makes a lot of sense for possession. You've gone his way 4 times. He has only 1 catch, wasn't able to pick up the first down even though he had blocking, and that was just a drop. So you can have your comfort level, I suppose, but you got to go some places where you can get results too.
High snap. Nice high kick. Framingham's down there to down it. Can they do it? It goes out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. They'll mark it down at the 4.
That's a great bounce because remember, touchbacks are coming out to the 25 now, so that is a very, very big roll. Instead of being a difference of 16 yards, it's a difference of 21. It's almost like getting a 5-yard penalty tacked on top.
Is that a classmate of yours by chance?
I believe so, yeah. It looks like my roommate from my freshman year.
That looked, when I came here back in 1976, that looked like me on a Saturday night.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. Maybe that's old footage of me. I'm not sure. Did you put that together with the guys
the
at DCTV?
Reel-to-reel, yes.
Yeah, reel-to-reel. Yeah.
Interviewing Coach Robichaud, yeah.
1st and 10, UMass Dartmouth deep in their own territory, and they're going to run it out of there. And that's Mike Slaughter. They have a bevy of running backs to UMass Dartmouth. They're all interchangeable, and they're all good. And this is Sheridan, and Sheridan skips his way out to the near sideline. And that's, let's see, that's going to be enough for the first. Yes, it is. 1st and 10 Corsairs.
That's the thing. If you establish all these guys running well early, you don't know who's going to get the ball.
Here's Slaughter. Slaughter's got plenty of running room. He's out across the 20 and out to the 23-yard line, and that should be enough for another Corsair first down. They'll move the chains. 1st and 10 UMass Dartmouth. Just over 3.5 to play here in the first quarter. And Framingham State just can't get them down. They can't get these runners down, John. Here's Burnham off the ball fake. Perhaps back to the line of scrimmage.
It's just such a diverse attack. It's only human to understand how it's happening to Framingham. Burnham's eating them alive, so is Roy, so is Sheridan. All of a sudden now you've got Slaughter getting the ball. It's like, who's this guy? Where did he come from? We thought he was a fullback. Well, now he's starting to eat you up on this drive as well.
2nd and long, and that's Mims, the ball carrier. Just saying how many good runners they have. They've Mims, Sheridan, Slaughter, Roy.
And when you're finding carries for your 4th tailback in the first quarter, that's when you know the running game's clicking for you.
Stephen Roy now along the backfield with Mims. Burnham, time, throws, cut across the 45-yard line. Beautiful pitch and catch by the Corsairs. That's Kevin Gonzalez with the reception. And we have an injured player back at the 20-yard line. Let's look on.
This is really the first time we've seen the Corsairs air it out, and I believe we may have seen, if we could see that one more time, we'll take another look at that as they were able to throw it down the middle. So we have an injury down on the field for Framingham, so it's going to take just a second. Get a look, and that is Burnham in there letting it go, and get a great lane to throw right over the middle. And talked to Josh Sylvester a little on the field before the game, and he said they wanted to air it out. You know, the running attack is so good that it's hard to get away from it if it's working quite so well, but they feel like they can throw against this Framingham defense too.
Here's Stephen Roy, and he advances it across midfield. Second down and 5 for the Corsairs. You don't have time to get up and get that lively beverage that you want. They run these plays so quickly. Their goal is to wear you out. And so far in this young season, they're doing a good job. Now they're going to air it out. That's a high wobbler down the far sideline. UMass fans calling for a pass interference. And
they did get it, but it came from the back judge, the official who was right on top of it on the sideline. I'm not sure what he's looking at. It's a pretty textbook pass interference. And he gets bailed out by his colleague in the end zone as the Corsair is going to get that call, which will pick him up 15 yards and a first down.
Pass interference, defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
It's
automatic
Ken Bartolo,
first down.
the defender, getting called for the infraction. And when I used to coach, and you used to see that happen where the guy on the play would let it go, and the guy from 60 yards away throws the flag. It'd drive you right out of your skull. First and 10, UMass Dartmouth. They'll take the good fortune. Remember, John, this started from the inside their own 5-yard line.
That's true.
Under 2 to play here in the first quarter. I'm Jim Thompson. He's John Cabral. DCTV, the production crew here at Cressy this afternoon. We welcome you viewers up in the Framingham State area and, of course, along the internet. And you find folks in Dartmouth, UMass Dartmouth, doing what they do best. This is Sheridan moving the pile. Ball's out. And a late flag comes in, and that pile, as sometimes it does. Framingham State has the ball. The referees agree with them. UMD turns it over.
Look, it was Campbell Marchant, the one punching it out. And then, of course, whatever happens, happens once it's on the ground. The flag was thrown sort of during the scrum for the ball. And so this could go from bad to worse for the Corsairs if they not only lose the ball, but lose
After
another
the
15.
play, dead ball, personal foul, number 9. Pulling a player off the pile. After distance of the goal, first down, Framingham State.
Sven Jacobson is credited with the fumble recovery.
So Roy had a really good run here. Watch number 4, Marvin Jean, come up from behind and really just start riding Roy's back, which made it tougher for him to hang on to the ball, and he was maybe a step away from going to the ground before taking the spill.
Let's see what the penalty is. Who's pulling who off the pile?
9 got flagged for it, so I think he was trying to take somebody out. He didn't really pull somebody off. So that's one of the softer personal fouls you'll see called.
First and 10 for Framingham. They trail by a score of 13-0. And that's just incomplete, wide open. Was Stephen Beam for Framingham, but John, that play just was run too quickly. The quarterback Walker, just out of sync on that.
Yeah, no, he's not in a rhythm at all, which is a big accomplishment for a defense. And the longer you can keep him off balance, the better a chance you're going to have to get off the field, get turnovers, get sacks. And they just kind of want to keep him in the haze as long as they can.
Walker, here comes the rush, gets it out to the far side. That ball's incomplete. So it'll bring up third down and long. So Anthony Smith was the intended receiver. There's a good look at Smith.
It's our old friend Trent Barnes, the former Corsair quarterback, coming on that completely naked stunt blitz from the backside of the play. They didn't have him accounted for in the least. And Walker's just fortunate he was able to get rid of that ball before he got smacked.
Third down and 10 for the Rams. Awfully offset in the backfield for the Rams. Walker's got time, throws it long here near side, and that sails out of bounds.
They've just got nothing going in the passing game, Jim. They've got to get back to the run, score or otherwise. It's just another one that sailed out, and Barney's again having the coverage there. And again, they targeted Miller, but the throw, and nothing Miller can do about that one. The throw was 5 yards deep into the Corsair bench, so even if he was unguarded, that wasn't going to count. So I think when the Rams get the ball back, they've got to start running and forget about the score for a while. Still early in the game, you've got to get something positive going on the offensive side of the ball.
They're going to get good field position. Scott Tupper, this high end-over-end kick, bouncing down, and it takes a Ram bounce, a beautiful kick inside the 40, going to be down at around the 37-yard line.
That's a 49-yard punt with no return. Really, the punting has been the strength of the game now for Framingham. The last 2 punts they've had have been excellent. But we talked when the Corsairs scored their second touchdown about the importance of turning turnovers into points. You look at the turnover battle right now, 1-1. Wouldn't jump out at you in the box score, but the Corsairs turned theirs into 7 points. Framingham did absolutely nothing with theirs. A penalty to back them up, then 3-and-out in punts. Even worse than just a plain old 3-and-out. And the Corsairs sitting pretty still with that 13-point lead early in the ball.
It's been totally dominated this first quarter by UMass Dartmouth, that's for sure. Stephen Roy looking for room along the far side. He's not going to have much running room there. Taken down by a host of Framingham tacklers. He's actually going to lose a couple. We'll bring up second down. We'll call it 11 yards to go. Got a pretty good spot there. Burnham, he's got time. Throws, got a man, got himself a first down. That's Wadsworth on the reception.
Marvin Jean looking around like he missed a sign or missed a coverage, but between he and Harris, there is absolutely no coverage on Wadsworth whatsoever. He's got the whole sideline to himself, and pointing downfield to your safety isn't going to help.
1st and 10, here's Roy. Roy looking for running room. He's got a yard. Wazik made the tackle for Framingham. 2nd down and 9. You know, they give us these 2 deeps, and you notice guys in the 2 deep don't make the tackle. Or you ever notice that, John?
I sure have, yes.
I don't even know why they give them.
I think they could make it a 5 deep, and guys that still aren't on it would make plays.
Exactly. Aaron Owens made the tackle for Framingham. Bring up 3rd down and 6 yards to go now for the Corsairs. Burnham throws near side, incomplete. Just a little high. UMass Dartmouth.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Will perhaps have to punt this ball away as the quarter comes to an end here at Cressy. In an impressive first quarter it was, John.
Yeah, but on the UMass Dartmouth sideline, Mark Robichaud hopping mad right now. He did not feel that Framingham got their substitution in time, and it looked like they may have had 12 on the field when that ball was snapped. One thing I can tell you for certain is that Brandon Bryant, the down lineman, was nowhere close to ready. He wasn't even in the beginning of his stance when the ball was snapped, and I think the player he replaced might still have been on green running off. So we're going to see if we can get a wide enough shot of this. You can see 50 is still running off the field, and we'll see when this ball is snapped. It's going to be close. He's not, I mean, he is, Jim, he's 5 yards still on the field when this ball is snapped, number 50. What more do you need to see? And he's right in front of a referee. And that's our friend with the non-pass interference call as well, I believe.
Yes, having been at this level before down on the field, sometimes it's best to do what Coach Cavanaugh would tell us to do. Don't say anything. You can see it for yourself. It was right in front of the guy. So UMD now will kick it away.
So now you're punting when you should be having a 3rd and 1 in opponent territory.
And it's not a very good kick, as this is just a wobbler that heads to the Framingham bench. Let's see where they're going to spot this football. Not a very good kick at all. They're going to spot it at the 29-yard line. So
it's a net of 14 yards. It's not going to help.
So let's see what Framingham can do. They didn't do much in the first quarter. Let's see what's in the gas tank here in the second. You know, they don't put a lot of points on the board. They're averaging 22 on the season, John.
But it's been enough. They've made it work for them. They've gotten 3 wins and 4 times out.
Wright gets it away quickly, and that falls incomplete. I'm not sure he's even completed a pass in this game, has he?
I don't believe the one where they came up short on the third down, but it didn't feel like it because it didn't help them get what they wanted, the first down they were after. But he's been under duress quite a bit. Randy Butler was breathing hot and heavy down his neck on that play, and he was very nearly sacked. So that's the thing. If you don't have time to stand in, it almost doesn't matter how accurate you are with your passes because you're not going to be able to get them to your targets in time, or on time, I should say.
Second and long. Wright gets rid of it quickly and is a completion. That's going to be close to a first down. Colicchio on the reception. They're going to give him a gain of 10 and a first down. Three to the near side, one to the top of your screen. Walker getting his last minute instructions into his teammates. UMass Dartmouth look to jump, and they complete the pass out to the 45-yard line. That's Napoleon Miller, the leading receiver.
The officials are conferring. I don't see a flag on the field. I mean, it's hard to pretend that nothing happened there.
Offside defense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
I didn't see the flag come out.
I never saw one on the ground, no. I mean, they definitely jumped. I'm not arguing the call. But it's strange not to see a flag on the field. And they'll take the penalty because the play yielded them 5 yards as well. If you declined it, you'd be looking at 2nd and 5. So they'll keep the down and still get all the yards.
First and 5 for the Rams. They've done a good job on Offley in this game as well. There's the fake. They throw and throws behind the tight end, Stephen Bain.
Napoleon Miller giving the 3rd degree to Zach Walker, saying that he was wide open underneath, which he was. Of course, that wasn't the design of the play. But it's awfully tough to keep your receivers all happy. But when the one you've thrown the ball to 80% of the time is chirping at you in the second quarter, that could make for a long day in the huddle.
That's like keeping the youngest child happy
right
at the dinner table. Is Offley, and Offley had a running lane there, and UMass Dartmouth closed that up really, really fast. And that was Tony Slaughter coming up and making a solid hit on Offley.
It's a family affair. It's the brother of Michael Slaughter Jr., who was getting the carries earlier in the first half. Offley, did you get the sense he was looking to maybe hurdle somebody there, the way he was starting to come up? That's usually a bad idea. Usually.
Usually, you don't teach that, but it's been quite evident at the NFL level. Looks good, but good way to get hurt. 3rd down, long 3 to go now for the Rams. Trailing in this one by a score of 13-0. It's Colicchio in motion. Right near sideline, looking for Bain. That's incomplete. And you can see some of the Framingham players looking to the bench like, what the heck's going on here?
You wonder about the play calling. I mean, this is clearly not a strength of the team, those wide outside the number, stretch the field type of throws. So why you keep calling them, particularly in a short down and distance? I mean, they only needed 3 yards to pick that up, and you're aiming 25 yards down the field when you've really had no success in that regard. It's confounding, but the Corsairs will certainly take it. Now, they've got to be smart about these special team situations. 2 great punts in a row for Framingham. See if they can do it again.
Slaughter back deep. Beautiful punt here to the near side again. Unreturnable as it goes across the boundary.
Drifted out on him, though, so a lot of times they'll walk him up. Not that bad in this case, though. 24-yard line.
Where UMD's offense will come onto the field. There's your score. Just under 13 minutes to play. It's UMass Dartmouth 13, Framingham State nothing. I'm Jim Thompson. He's John Cabral. We want to thank the fine folks at DCTV Channel 9 for broadcasting this game, not only for the fine folks in the Dartmouth community, but for you folks watching live now on the internet. 1st and 10 for UMD. And Framingham's defense that time comes up big. No gain on the play. Sheridan, the runner. Second and long from the 25. Burnham shuffles it out early and not much of a gain. That's Sheridan. Mitch makes the play for Framingham. Third down and 7 to go now for UMD.
That's a terrific effort by Minich, because if he doesn't make the play, chances are it breaks for big yardage for the Corsairs.
Here's Burnham. Here's the rush. Corey avoids it. He's down the near sideline. He's got the first down and more. They say he stepped out along the near sideline.
It's probably good for him that he did, because Marvin Jean was about to come with a big hit, and he would have paid a price. Instead, he pulled up. But these are things where you have to be able to excel above the X's and O's in order to win games at this level. And Burnham, this is a play that just completely broke down. He's not supposed to be in that situation where he is, but he makes the most of it, tiptoes the sideline, gets first down yardage.
Burnham throws. That's intended for Bambos down there at the 37. Falls incomplete. Bring up second down here for UMass Dartmouth. 11:43 to play in the opening half. You're watching UMass Dartmouth football, cablecast by Channel 9 DCTV in the town of Dartmouth. And they don't waste much time running these plays. And here's a solid run by Slaughter. And Slaughter's out for a gain of 13 and a first down as he gets that ball down to the Framingham State 45-yard line.
It's like the Slaughter brothers are in competition with one another on either side of the ball, who can make the bigger play right now. He must have seen Tony make the big stick on defense and say, I've got to do something when I get back in there, because this is some improv here by him as well. This is a play. Didn't look like it was going to go for anything too big.
Here's Burnham, and Burnham's going to be wrapped up in the backfield.
And it gives you a sense. We're trying to show you that run by Slaughter. The Corsairs right back up at the line. They're calling another snap. They've found that they can really, really make this Framingham defense hurt by going up tempo, and so they're sticking with it. Should be a free play.
13
Ooh.
Whistles blow. Let's see.
I think this will be offside, but then maybe there was some contact and they'll call encroachment. You'd much rather have the play through for UMass Dartmouth, because it's a free shot. Even if you throw an interception, you're still going to get the yards.
Prior to the snap, false start.
Ooh.
Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Austin Peters call for the infraction.
That's the right guard. We're going to want to see this again. Okay. Look, maybe simultaneous with the jump, maybe a hard snap count that fooled both sides at the same time. Pretty sure this is the longest down and distance the Corsairs have faced all day. 2nd and 18. They've done a good job of avoiding these for the most part.
This is Sheridan, and Eddie's looking for running room, and Framingham comes up big once again.
That's a great job by Joshua Onajogu chasing down the line. As you can see, he's one of those Jason Taylor type tall, skinny defensive ends that can sprint the line, widen that play out, and really ran it into a hornet's nest of defenders.
Can you say that last name 10 times fast?
Not 10 times. I'm not sure I could say it a second time, but you know, you got to be willing to walk the plank once in a while in this line of work.
3rd and 22. And they're going to run it. That's Sheridan. Sheridan gets out to about the 48-yard line. That'll bring on the special teams for UMass Dartmouth. It seems like the Framingham front seven's playing a little better here in the second quarter, John.
A little bit, but remember, you had that penalty that really took UMass Dartmouth out of what it wanted to do. So a safe call there going to Roy. You pick up a few yards, and then you hope that you can get the punting game turned back around. Here's another opportunity to get primo field position, and the Corsairs really haven't had that for the second quarter.
And they get it away. And the ball's bouncing down there inside the 25-yard line. They'll finally down it at the 23-yard line. Framingham State scoreless here in this one. We'll take over the football from just across their own 20.
Disappointing bounce there. That one hit the ground hard enough, like it could have rolled 10 or 15 yards in the Corsairs' favor, but just kind of side spun, didn't go anywhere. As that's going to really help the Rams out with their starting field position. They'll start out from the 23.
Rodzinski in there now at the quarterback spot for Framingham State. He played last week as well. And he throws his first pass, and that's completed. And that's Napoleon Miller on the reception. Ortega got him to the ground, but not before he picked up a gain of 8. Second down and a couple.
Well, they must have seen what we saw on the sideline, and that's just really nothing out of Walker in the first quarter and a half to make you think that he was going to make plays happen in the Framingham passing game. So Wojcinski comes in, but again, Miller is the primary target.
That's Offley, and Offley's going to get 3 and a first.
And that's the thing to remember for Framingham. You've still got a ton of time left. 9 minutes left in this half, and then all of the second half. And 13-0 sounds like a lot, feels like a lot, but it's just 2 scores. And over the course of 39 minutes, you can more than erase that. If you can get into a rhythm, make some good things happen on offense.
So Wojcinski now the quarterback for Framingham.
Flipping those inside receivers again, Jim. They've got Napoleon Miller as the slot to the far side of the field.
Wojcinski throws over the middle, incomplete. That's Napoleon Miller. He's the target, came into this game with 25 catches, John. They've tried to go to him all game long.
Harvey Mathurin, we've seen him make big plays in pass rush and run stuffing, but became a cornerback on that play, chasing after Miller, stayed with him step for step.
Here I am again, John. They can't get enough of me today.
Those are your game day earrings, right?
Yes, those are. It's kind of tough to talk with all that stuff on that big beard. 2nd and 10. Far sideline toss, incomplete.
Yeah,
Framingham State's looking for the flag.
They're going to get it,
They're going to get it.
The reason for that is just absolutely no effort to turn around defensively by Barnes. And Barnes knows better. He's made good plays today. For the most part, he gives you good sideline coverage. But anytime we, from our broadcast booth here, can read the defender's back jersey number on the other side of the field, that's going to be a flag 100% of the time.
Colicchio was the intended receiver, and let's check in with the referee.
15-yard penalty. First down.
And the unfortunate thing there is I'm not sure that ball gets completed even if he isn't there. They've had a lot of trouble with those wider throws today. So we'll get another look at it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Barnes is at the top of your screen, number 5. And anytime you can see the back like that, that's going to be the result, and a pretty simple call there on the far side.
And as you're leading,
yes,
you're actually leading into the receiver who's backpedaling, which makes it much easier for the official that's right there to see that the receiver cannot get to the ball, and he has every right to get to the football. 1st and 10 for Framingham State. Here come the flags. UMD's offside. That's Offley. Got out for a couple of yards, but I think Framingham State's going to pick up a free 5.
When you're playing an opponent that's beating itself, the last thing you want to do is start beating yourself more than the opponent's doing. That's what the Corsairs are doing right here. We've started to see them jump off a little bit.
Defense, number 99, 5-yard penalty. Repeat. First
It's
down.
Marcel Flynn.
They call it on Flynn, but they'll actually make a change. They'll take Calvin Morris, who I thought was the one that jumped off the field, and I think they may agree with me. As he's coming off, and coming on in his stead for the Corsairs is going to be number 51, Zach Rodrigues.
1st and 5 now from the UMD 47. UMass Dartmouth has controlled this game, but Framingham State is just hanging around. And another completed pass, and Colicchio's got himself a first down. So Wojcinski's come in, John. He's throwing short passes, but he's completing them.
Well, Miller's definitely got the speed, so they're trying to find ways that they can get it to him on quick hitters so that he can make plays in space. And he hasn't really broken tackles yet to get a really big gainer, but he appears to have that kind of potential. So part of why they're going to him so often is they think that, you know, he might be able to make a play break into something that turns into 25+ for them.
1st and 10 now for the Rams. Wojcinski got caught there in the backfield, had really nowhere to go. Petrella was in there to make the tackle for UMass Dartmouth along with David Collins. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10. We look on.
When your running back doesn't pick up blitzes, that's going to be the result. As you saw, Offley went for it but swung and missed trying to pick up Petrella. We had a chance to talk to Louis Petrella a little earlier this week. You'll hear from him at halftime. He came into the studio. He's actually a lacrosse player by trade at Mansfield High. Did not play football for that great high school football program down there. Picked up football once he got to campus, but he looked like a veteran right there.
Wojcinski over the middle. He's got himself a man and a first down. And that's Napoleon Miller once again, their leading wideout.
I would, of course, encourage everyone watching to stick around at halftime to catch my interview with Louis, where I delve into that topic a little deeper and learn more about not just the player, but the student.
Well, isn't that nice? A student athlete. They use the term often at all levels. Big-time football, you have to wonder. The athlete part always works. At Division III, it is about student athletes. Wojcinski gets it away quickly, and Framingham State's offense, since he came into the ball game, has started to move a little bit. That's that man Miller once again on the reception.
All they're showing you are these inside routes behind the picks from the other receivers. At the linebacker level, you've got to start identifying it. If you see him running inside toward the middle of the field, guess what? He's getting the ball. So you've got to start creeping up in his direction as we now get a timeout on the field.
First time out of the half, UMass and Dartmouth.
So we have 6 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the first half. UMass Dartmouth 13, Framingham State nothing. All the action in the first quarter was UMD putting up 13 points. Framingham State just could not move the football, nor could they stop the run. In the second quarter, the defense, along with some miscues by UMass Dartmouth, has put the UMass Dartmouth offense a little bit back on their heels. Meanwhile, a quarterback change for Framingham State. It's got the momentum rolling here in the middle of the second quarter, John.
They certainly do, and if they're able to score here, you know, you're certainly right in the thick of things, down by just the one score. And remember, the Corsairs have 13 points on the board, but that was really just the one mega drive with the fumbled kickoff sandwiched in between. So the Corsairs got all their points in that one spurt in the first half of the first quarter, have not accomplished anything offensively since. So this game can come right back in Framingham's direction if they can come away with something here.
Here's the UMass Dartmouth cheerleaders on this cool fall afternoon. It's not raining any longer, but the skies are gray, and it has been raining for the last several days here in North Dartmouth.
We've got a bigger crowd than some of the D1 games in the Northeast today. I don't know if you saw any of the crowd shots from Notre Dame, Syracuse, or dear God, did you see the game in Philadelphia today, Temple and SMU?
I did not.
I think you could have had a front row seat for about 50 cents. They would have begged you. Please sit near the television camera, please.
Is Offley, and Offley's going nowhere. Racing across was Petrella once again for the Corsairs, and here comes not one, not two, but how about 3 flags?
Well, they're probably going to get somebody on the Corsairs for taunting, would be my guess. And we just find out who the guilty party is. The Corsairs trying to build some momentum and get some swagger defensively. You appreciate that, but it's probably going to cost them some yards and a new set of downs for
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 91, defense. Half the distance of the goal, automatic first down.
That's Vargas being called for that, and that just marches the football closer
Picture
to that
says
goal line.
1,000 words, doesn't it? As you see Steve Faneuil's face after that call comes in, that really says more about what just happened than I ever could. As the defensive coordinator for these Corsairs.
In a darn good one. In a Westfield State grad.
Even when you're pitching a shutout, it doesn't bring a smile to your face while the game's still going on. You've got to contend with things like that.
And then they give the ball to Bain, and Bain squeezes down. Short gain. He's the tight end. He kind of does a lot of stuff. Plays in the slot sometimes. Now they put him in as a runner.
Anthony LaRose has got to be careful for this Corsair defense as he tackled Wojcinski like he was the ball carrier, which he wasn't on the play. And, you know, if it wasn't a passing play, so it's not roughing the passer, but you're walking a fine line there. Got to make sure you don't pick up another cheap flag for a hit on a guy that doesn't have the ball.
Second and goal from the 7. Is Offley, and he's being chased down. He's going to lose a few. And that's Louis Petrella coming across to make the tackle for UMD, along with Marvy Methuen.
Mathurin's just got such an incredible combination of speed and size for this level that he's able to fill this gap so quickly and break through on a play. that really you can be carrying it and not necessarily know where he is, and then all of a sudden he's underneath your knees taking you down, and that's exactly what happened on that play.
So the UMass Dartmouth defense digging in now. 3rd and goal from the 15. Wojcinski, the backup quarterback. Throws, end zone. Is it caught? Yes, Bain comes down with it. Touchdown, Framingham from the 15-yard line.
That's the best catch we've seen on this field so far this year when you consider that it's a running back making the play, that it's a wet ball on a slick surface. Very improbable to be able to not only bring this in, but control it all the way to the ground and through the act of the catch. Really just a remarkable one-handed play. Got hit on the way down and still hung on. That's just an incredible play by Bain, and those are the kinds that you have to make to come back against the team you're trailing by 2 touchdowns.
Kick is on its way, and it's good. So with 4 minutes and 11 seconds to play, Framingham State, they've been hanging around the entire game, been outplayed by the Corsairs, now only trailed by 6 at 13-7.
The Corsairs have 13 points on the board, but they've easily had 21 or 28 points worth of opportunity in this first half, and they haven't put them up. And so now they've got to manage a game that's a lot closer than it probably should be. Now they'll get the benefit here of having the ball now. They've also got it to start the second half. So if they could shave this clock down a little bit, you could turn it into a possession game where you've got 2 chances to score really before Framingham gets to do it again, and I think that's what they're talking about over on that UMD sideline, but a lot of it's going to depend on starting field position as well with this return. So we'll take a look at what the Corsairs draw up as you get a look at their kickoff return team, as they've got Matt Mitchell and Stephen Roy back there deep to return. And for Framingham, you know, as they get set to kick, can they pin the Corsairs deep? Can they hit one to a spot? And would you rule out an onside kick in a situation like this too? Remember, you gave up 2 touchdowns in rapid order. Might you try to get them back one right after another? Only Sean St. Marie knows the answer to that question for sure right now.
Just over 4 to play here in the second quarter. Cressy Field, we have ourselves a good one. And this is Stephen Roy from his 10. Roy's got a lane along the near side. Look out! Steps across the 30 and out to the 33-yard line, where he's run out of bounds by Will Cadre. So good field position for UMass Dartmouth now. They look to answer the Framingham State score.
That's a terrific job by Mitchell there, too. He saw that initial lane off of making the catch and didn't try to wait for a wall, didn't try to dance or cut back or anything like that. Just took what the kick coverage was affording him and grabbed it up, gobbled it as quickly as he could, set the Corsairs up nice.
Here's Slaughter. Slaughter gets out to the 40 and there's a flag down at the 38.
That flag came in pretty late, so I don't think it's a block or a hold. Might be a face mask or something of that sort. Could really help the Corsairs out, as it appeared to be right when Slaughter was going to the ground.
Well, you're wrong again, Mr. Soothsayer. UMass Dartmouth is backing up, and we'll go field side.
Holding, offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Getting some sounds of the game from Coach Robichaud, and I think it's similar to my attitude on the play as well. It's hard to commit holding when the player's in the process of being tackled and brought to the ground. Flags thrown from in front of the Corsair sideline against an interior lineman. It's quite a bit of a head scratcher. I mean, it was your linesman on our side where our broadcast booth is throwing it against the right tackle on the opposite end of the play. Unusual, to put it kindly.
And UMass Dartmouth, Stephen Roy picks a big chunk of that back. Out for a gain of 10. Owens makes the tackle for Framingham. So they get the penalty yardage back. Gain of 10, 2nd and 10. And this time it's Slaughter looking for running room.
And he had
loses
it.
a yard.
The trouble was is you just didn't get a block held onto. Pat Sullivan, if he's able to hang on his block, is going to spring that for a pretty big play for Slaughter. Just wasn't able to keep his man locked up.
3rd and long. Burnham looks near side. Here comes the rush, and down goes Corey down at the 26-yard line. Akeem Smith One of the guys that get a hold of him.
First time out of the half for Framingham
I'll tell you what,
State.
these string bean defensive ends are becoming a real problem for UMass Dartmouth right now, as the speed is just eating them up on the outside. It's again Sullivan having the trouble handling it. And it's Ben King, listed at 6'1", 265. I would challenge him to stand on a scale and weigh in actually at 265. Looks like more like 235 to me. But he's turning it into a track meet, as is his counterpart on the other side, Zwanek. And the two of them really wreaking havoc on the outsides of this Corsair offensive line right now. And it's showing up in a big way in the Corsair passing game.
It's funny how games can change on a dime. UMass Dartmouth completely dominating the first 15 minutes. The second quarter, Framingham State's kind of got back into this game a little bit, but now they've called a timeout here. They stopped the clock. They feel like the quarterback change perhaps has given them a little bit of momentum. Stop the clock with just over 3 minutes to go. And they're serious about trying to take the lead before the half, John.
They certainly are, and they'll get the opportunity, as they'll probably be set up, and kick returners are on their own 40.
Right in Miller, back deep, and no need for them to go back deep. It's another poor punt by the Corsairs.
Framingham's really won
a net of 11 yards.
Yes, they've won the field position game in a big way, as they'll go to the 45. That's 18 is the total on that kick, but nevertheless, you need your punts to be going for a minimum of 35 on your net if you're going to be able to control field position, because now that you're on the 45 going in, 2:56 might as well be 12:56. The clock's not going to be a constraint to you on this drive at all.
First and 10 now for Wojcinski, the backup. He's done a great job since he's come in. He's going to throw the long ball. He's got Miller out there, and Miller cannot hold on down at the 2-yard line. That had touchdown written all over it. He just flat out dropped it.
Well, if you're going to be, waving your arms and yapping at your quarterback that you're open coming back to the huddle, this is one you've got to bring in. They set you up on the route that you want. You've got your man beat. You've got a tie game in the palms of your hands. Just have to make that happen. Not a perfect throw, but one he should be able to haul in.
UMass Dartmouth dodges a bullet. They went for the home run ball and just fouled it back. 2nd and 10 now for the Rams.
I see what you did there. I like that.
I know you're a baseball guy.
That's right.
Get it out here to Miller. Miller's inside the UMD 40. They're going to mark him down at the 39. That's a gain of 5. 3rd down now for the Rams.
And I think Miller's going to be a big part of the defensive conversation when the Corsairs get back into the trip at halftime, because they've got to figure out some new and unusual ways to guard him, because he's eating them alive right now. Even when he's not making the catches, he's available and he's in space, and it's going to catch up to them eventually.
Wojcinski. Here comes the rush, and they're going to get him down. And that's LaRose, Anthony LaRose coming across, and there's a good look at Anthony. That's a big stop by the Corsair defense.
And LaRose will get the credit for the sack, and rightfully so, as he makes the play, but equally responsible for that sack happening is Brandon Miller coming off the edge with the big rush. What Miller was able to do is he's able to attract the attention of the left tackle, who's supposed to have a blocking responsibility to the inside on LaRose, but he sees, as you watch number 40 coming through like a bat out of hell here, that takes the tackle off of his blocking assignment, and then it's just slim pickings for LaRose. He comes in and gets himself an easy sack. So a great job by both of them doing exactly what they were supposed to do, and a well-designed rush there by Steve Faneuil. Sets up a 4th down there. Big break for the Corsairs. As Framingham's in a punting situation right away. And now you wonder about this punt, because this has been so good to Framingham today. If they can hit the Corsairs in the mouth again, put them back inside their 10, they could get the ball again with another chance to score by the time the half's out.
Tupper back deep. Here comes the rush. And it's another fine kick for Framingham, and they're going to down it perhaps. Do they do? Let's see.
No, but it went out of bounds. They're lucking out.
Yes.
6 ways to Sunday with these punts right now. That's incredible. They were not going to down that punt. They ran after it and missed, Jim. But watch, they just catch a huge break as the man who comes down to down the kick swings and misses completely. I mean, you got to get that ball at least batted out, and he lucks out in a big, big way that the ball just slips out the side door for him.
How about that camera coverage, DCTV, right down there at the goal line?
Clayton Minich would have been the hero there.
Well, UMass Dartmouth from their own 1. They're just going to try to get as much room as they can deep in their own territory.
Yeah,
Marchant made the tackle.
Framingham still has 2 timeouts left. You may see them use one here.
Burnham hands it off. Roy, he's out to the 6. Aaron Owens, along with Sven Jacobson, get the ball carrier down. So now we're looking at 3rd down and 8. And all of a sudden you can feel the wind whistling through Cressy Field. I'm looking out at the flags by the scoreboard, the trees behind there, and suddenly the wind has picked up here in North Dartmouth. Still no rain, but still a dreary outlook out there as we up here in the nice warm press box. And next year we got a new press box coming, I hear.
If we look out the back window here, you can actually see it. And I think it's a lot drier in there than it is in here today. Just look longingly out at it, not drool. But
you know, it's
not going to win any popularity contest with the play call here, Jim. But I think that I would still run it here, given the situation that you're in. Framingham has that one timeout that could really be big if you ever threw an incomplete pass. You can really extend out the minute 20 that would be left to them. So if you can force them to call that, even if you have to punt, they're not going to have a timeout for their drive, and I think that will really hurt them when they have the ball.
Now, do you practice in that? Is that like a real press box? Do you practice like during the week? They put you down there and you practice?
They have the night practices, the soccer team, field hockey. I wait until everybody clears out, and I just kind of sneak in there so nobody sees me. But, yeah, you know.
I figured you'd.
My do-re-mis, I get those in
always
out there, yeah.
Working on your craft. Yeah. 3rd down and 5 now for Burnham and his offense.
Got that sportsmanship read memorized now.
And this is Burnham looking for running room, and he's going to be held short the 1st down. That's the linebacker, Aaron Owens, once again making the stop.
3rd and final timeout of the
UMass
half.
Dartmouth now with 4th down and 3, deep in their own territory. From their own 7, they're going to have to punt this football away, and it's going to give Framingham good field position. In the punting game for UMass Dartmouth has not been good.
And so this is where it really, the spotlight burns pretty bright on Jeremy Jackson, as the Corsairs need a primo punt here. They cannot afford another 20 to 30 yard kick. They need something that can legitimately get Framingham to start this series on their own side of the field, because 118 is still a bunch of time, but they've got no timeouts. So if you can get them to start back their own side of midfield, they're going to have a tough time up against the clock, particularly if you can get a sack or a run stuff or something like that. In the meantime, you need a big kick, and this
one thing
looks like it might be Wadsworth in there.
Kevin's in there now to punt it away. And one thing you're not talking about is the punt block.
Right.
You know, late in the game, deep in your own territory, you might as well go for it. As Wright is back deep for Framingham. Stands at his own 45. High snap, no rush. Nice high kick down here at the 45, no return. Nice kick by Wadsworth. Framingham will have good field position, but perhaps thinking they could get a return on that kick, and Kevin got that ball high. Plus that wind is coming toward the UMass Dartmouth bench. And the return man had a tough time looking into the lights, trying to gauge that football. So all said and done, Framingham has it 1st and 10 from just inside the UMass Dartmouth 45-yard line. Here's Wojcinski again. He's going to throw it down the near sideline. Had a man open momentarily. That's Colicchio, and he overthrew him.
Something we've seen both quarterbacks struggle with is where they're placing the ball width-wise when they make these outside throws. You had a touchdown there if you could have hit it, but the throw was wide, not out of bounds.
And for those of you who don't know where North Dartmouth is, we're just a couple of miles from the ocean, and we get the ocean breeze here, and now the wind has decided to calm down. So all you boaters out there, you're feeling good about it. Here's a quarterback draw. Wojcinski, he's got plenty of running room. He's got the 1st and more. He's down inside the 25 and down to the 21-yard line. Brandon Miller caught him from behind.
And remember, the clock stops long enough for them to set the sticks, which is yet to happen. So they can either quickly get into another play or they can spike it and conserve a lot of clock that way.
Wojcinski's done a great job since he's come in at the quarterback spot. Here he is again. He's got time. He's going for the home run ball in the corner. It's caught, but he's out of bounds across the boundary. Colicchio making the grab, and there's a flag down as well.
Well, if there is, it's a good penalty to take because it probably prevented a touchdown. This is another throw that's just out too far, too wide to the sideline. If it's somewhere he can go get it, it's a touchdown.
UMass Dartmouth is actually applauding this, so
maybe
let's
it's
see.
an offensive. Push-off pass interference on the offense is often the
Pass
case.
interference, offense number 3, 15-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That's another one of those quirks. The differences between the college game and the pro game is in the NFL, that's only a 10-yard penalty. In college, offensive pass interference is a 15-yard penalty, so that really stings. But yeah, hard to argue with that.
First of all, he's out of bounds, so they shouldn't call it, but that's okay. If you're coaching, you just say, you got to be kidding me. Everybody has a right to the football. Here's Offley. He's looking for running room. He hurdles a man and going to be taken down.
We thought he was going to do that earlier, a couple series ago, remember? And so he definitely, I think I was right that first time. That's exactly what he had in mind. So he's trying to find his way to the sideline. Remember, they've got no timeouts, so really a terrible play call, given the situation in the down and distances. That's cost them about a third of the time they had left on the clock, and they're not in field goal range either.
Look for Miller here. Wojcinski's got time, now rolls to the near side. Now he throws, end zone, overthrows his man. Anthony Smith was out there, but the pass was just overthrown, so.
Smith had snuck in behind the defender, Jim. If he could have put just a little more air under that ball and let him chase it down in the back of the end zone, that's another one that could have been a touchdown. Corsairs have got to tighten up their coverages here at halftime.
That was a big offensive pass interference call.
Sure was. So now you've got only the 7 seconds left, so with no timeouts, really all you can do is throw a Hail Mary for the end zone with 32 seconds left. Really no other alternative. Any chance of a field goal is completely out of the equation. You just don't have the ticks.
Wojcinski. He's got time. High throw to the corner. Miller's back there, and it's knocked down by UMass Dartmouth down there at the goal line. So that'll end the first half here from Cressy. Framingham State 2-0 in the conference. They're the conference favorites, having a tough time with the Corsairs of UMass Dartmouth. Our score at the half, UMD 13, Framingham State 7. John and I will be right back with more action here from Cressy.
Halftime here at Cressy Field. Corsairs have got themselves a 13-7 lead over the Framingham State Rams. So now we're going to take a look down to midfield where the Corsair football program is presenting the inaugural Mike Ego Service and Dedication Award, and it's going to Guess Who, Mike Ego, after whom it will be named. We're discussing it a little bit before halftime, the big capital project here at Cressy Field to make this place feel a little bit more like home for the Corsairs as they push toward their 30th year of varsity competition. And you see Athletic Director Amanda Van Voris down there as they are presenting that award to Mike Ego. As the alumni of this program, it's really been a nice thing to see the last couple of years, has really embraced the current day Corsairs. They play on a different field, they wear different colors, have a different logo, but even the school has a different name, and nevertheless there's a bond across generations there that's really been a very, very nice thing to see. So they've got the award that they're presenting with the jersey down on field, with the plaque, with the hammer, and head coach Mark Robichaud to show you just how important and just how momentous an occasion this is for this program. Despite the fact that he's got a game to coach, he's staying on the field at halftime for this photo op. So really a big program building event going on here at halftime, and being honored as such. The Mike Ego Service and Dedication Award, well deserved, and hopefully the first of many that will be presented in the UMass Dartmouth football program. So there you see, so they're getting a chance to have the smile in the photo. You'll be seeing that soon on CorsairAthletics.com, I'm sure. In the meantime, we've got some more halftime action coming your way. It'll be a little bit of a later halftime today if you're watching over on the live side, as you get a look at the new logo that they've installed on the scoreboard to the left of the UMass score in relation to the event that we've had here today. As I mentioned, during the first half, Louis Petrella, who made a couple of big plays for the Corsair defense this week, had an opportunity to stop by the DCTV studios and talk about his career as a UMass Dartmouth football player. So you'll get a look at that, and we'll also join you on the other side of halftime. Again, you see at the break, 13-7 UMass Dartmouth with the lead over Framingham State. Now, thanks to the folks at the G Phillips Construction Company for what they've done to help rehab this field at Cressy. So 13-7, the Corsairs lead it, hoping they can get a W on this homecoming day in Dartmouth.
Back to Cressy Field here on the campus of UMass Dartmouth. Our score at the half is UMass Dartmouth 13, Framingham State 7. Huge advantage statistically for UMass Dartmouth, John, in the first half, but it's only a 6-point differential.
Yeah, everything that UMass Dartmouth accomplished, they did it in the first half of the first quarter and failed to put up any more points after that. But what you're alluding to is the disparity in overall yardage. UMass Dartmouth has run 42 plays for 223 yards, which is a good, solid first half. You multiply that out, that they'd be right in the nearby of 450 for a half. As you can see, the rain's starting to pick up a little bit in sheets here as we get the second half started. But 42 for 223 for UMass Dartmouth. Framingham has only gained 134 yards total on 41 snaps, so almost the exact same number of plays, yet they don't have the yards. And this looks like it might be a little bit of that billowing fog like we had last time we got together for a home game here. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. As you see, our overhead camera still a little soggy, but not really the steady down rainfall that we had in the area last night.
So UMass Dartmouth deferred to the second half. They have
exactly
the lead.
Why you do it.
Right. Devon Green back along with Stephen Roy for the Corsairs. And it's high end over end here to the near side. From the 17-yard line, this is Green. He advances it up across the 30 and out to the 32-yard line, where UMass Dartmouth will have the possession to start the second half. I'm Jim Thompson alongside John Cabral. We welcome you folks in the Dartmouth community on DCTV 9, and of course you people up at Framingham State and across the world viewing today on the internet, especially you folks up there on campus. And if your sons and daughters are playing or cheerleading, we welcome you as well if you're viewing in live on the internet. First and 10. UMass Dartmouth, and they run it here on first down, and all game long they've done a great job of just chewing up yardage. Eddie Sheridan out for 9.
It's a good adjustment by Sheridan. Remember, it was a similar play where he fumbled. He was carrying a defender on his back, and the longer he was up, the more it gave him an opportunity. And that time he made sure he had the ball pretty well smothered so that it didn't come out. And they've called an official's whistle. There's an official timeout already, a ram down on this very first snap of the second half.
Well, actually, John, they're going to give him a gain of 10 where they attend the injured player. They moved the sticks across the far sideline. So UMass Dartmouth, just one play here in the second half, but pretty much what they did in the entire first quarter. The second quarter, Framingham State seemed to do a little bit better job, although UMass Dartmouth shot themselves in the foot a couple of times. But the defense for Framingham was much better in the second quarter.
Yeah, and the stat that we didn't get to, Jim, was penalties, and the penalties really hurt the Corsairs. We commented on that as it happened. 8 penalties in the first half for 78 yards compared to only 4 for 54 over on the Framingham side. So that really hurt them. And the old Bill Parcells adage on that was 100 yards worth of penalties is a touchdown. Getting right up into that territory right now if you're UMD at 78.
Sven Jacobson, outstanding linebacker, was the injured player. And here comes UMass Dartmouth running right at him again on first down. That's Eddie Sheridan. Another big gain in the first.
Does seem like they've been stronger to the right side of their line today, and that's how they've gone with their first 2 plays. And boy, are they quick to get back up to the line.
Here's Burnham off the ball fake. Corey looking for the first down marker across the sideline. I think he's got himself very close. A gain of 8. They're going to mark him out just a bit short.
It's funny how you keep your balance running with the ball and how your little things that make you an individual really contribute. I think if he were left-handed and could have gotten that ball on the outside, he could have really sprinted and turned that corner.
Here's Slaughter, and Slaughter's going to be very close. Still trying to pick up the yard as he's down on the ground. They're going to mark him about a yard short. So it'll be third down now. We look on at the crowd here at Cressy. Light mist in the air now.
It's actually not bad. I was outside a little during halftime. It's really not cold. It's still hanging in at 60.
Well, you're kind of young, so. Here's Mike Roy, and Roy's got himself a first down. So they, on this series alone, they've had Slaughter, Sheridan, and now Roy, and they just keep rotating him, and they just keep getting huge chunks of yards and moving the football on their first series of downs to start the second half. They're inside the Framingham State 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Corsairs. And they run it to the left this time, and that's Slaughter. And
Turf Monster got him.
Yep, Slaughter tripped up by the hash mark. Gain of 9.
Good late blocks downfield. Sullivan picked one up. Bambos was involved, and I think one more step, one more good plant on the ground, he might have been able to take that back the other way.
Burnham off the ball fakes. Got time, throws, got a man. Touchdown. There's also a flag down as well. That's Stephen Roy on the reception, but this may be coming back.
When somebody's that wide open, there's usually a reason why, and it's usually naughty. So we'll find out what's going on here. Not a lot of celebration on the UMD side, that's for sure.
Pass interference, offense number 4. 15-yard penalty, repeat.
So Bambos gets whistled for the infraction. They'll take the 6 points off the Cressy Field scoreboard, and they'll mark the ball back here at the 39. Where are they going to mark this thing? At the 41-yard line.
So you add 15 to that penalty total. You're up to 93 now. And that one, at least theoretically, takes 6 points off the board. Also takes you out of that great rhythm that you had, doing really whatever you wanted to this Framingham defense the whole trip downfield.
Second down, 17. And they run it again, no problem. This is Sheridan, and Sheridan is down inside the 15-yard line. Harris finally making the stop. No need to throw the football. They can't stop the run.
They certainly can't. It's amazing what they're doing just between, forget the tackles, the guards. I mean, this is just right down your throat. These are 0 and 2 holes that they're exploiting.
And this is Slaughter, and Slaughter's going to take it in. Too easy. From 18 yards out goes Mike Slaughter.
Well, why would you ever throw the ball when you can run it like that? Corsairs just came out and dominated up front that entire series. Responded to the challenge they got in the halftime locker room, I'm sure. Great seal on the outside by Sullivan. Slaughter, Coach Robichaud teases him for not having that turbo boost at the end, but he sure makes it work when he gets rolling, low to the ground, keeps his momentum, keeps his balance, and really makes it hurt when the defense tries to bring him down.
Offensive line just doing a masterful job once again. This kick is up, and it's through the uprights. And UMass Dartmouth starts the second half the way they started the first. They took the opening possession, marched it right down Framingham State's throats. Come out in the second half, do the same thing. We go back to the opening coin toss. They said, you know what, we'll take the ball to start the second half. It worked.
I'll tell you, it's a sight for sore eyes. You go down there in under 2 minutes and put those points on the board. Remember, the Corsairs accomplished really nothing offensively after getting those 2 touchdowns in succession, immediately one following the other with the fumbled kickoff in between. So 2 touchdowns, there was effectively just one drive. Had really nothing going for you in the second quarter. So to come out and make that kind of a statement initially gets you that largest lead of the game back. It's almost like it's 13-0 again, and you go right back to the dynamic of the game where you're in control of it and the other team's playing catch-up. But remember, it did come quick, so you've still got almost the entire second half still to play here. You certainly can't lean back on a 13-point lead. Not yet, anyway.
Just underway here in the second half. Just over 13 minutes to go. Didn't take UMass Dartmouth long to march that football right down the throats of Framingham State. Framingham State favored to win the conference coming into this game with a 2-0 record. This is right on the return and rights across the 35. Where they'll have it 1st and 10. We'll get their first look. Jace Penner, I believe, was the tackler for UMass Dartmouth on the special teams.
We've got Wright listed at 5'5". What do you think? Shortest college football player you've ever seen?
Might be.
And that is incredible. He can run, that's for sure, and that's why he's out there.
Good.
So Adam Wojcinski will get the start here in the second half. He came in relief and done a pretty nice job. Now his team's trailing by a lot more than when he first came into the game. Trailing 20-7 now. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Rams.
Just short arm that throw. We know Bean can help the quarterback out if he's anywhere in the neighborhood after that catch he made on the touchdown, but nothing he can do if he's still running his route and the ball falls out in front of him.
Fake to Offley, and they throw it out here to the near side, and they complete it up across the 45-yard line. Nice pitch and catch. That's Bain on the reception, Slaughter on the tackle.
And that's a much better delivered ball as Bain's right there, is able to catch it as he's turning to the outside. So not just making the throw, but also where you locate it can learn and result in yards after the catch. And that's exactly what happened. One of the better throws we've seen from Framingham today. And Wojcinski already has completed more passes, 7, than the starter who played in his place. Walker completed only 4 before being benched.
First down here for Framingham. They come right back. Bain's got it. He breaks the tackle. He's down the sideline. He's got one guy to beat, and he steps out of bounds here along the near sideline at the 35-yard line. That's enough for another Framingham State first down.
This is a nice job by Trent Barnes after the yards after catch to come up, essentially playing a de facto safety and just using the sideline to his advantage to widen him out, prevents a touchdown. But Framingham really not trying much of a vertical pass game right now, sticking to their strengths. Bain and Miller have really been making it happen for them in the short and intermediate routes. There's Miller as the slot receiver with those banana-colored socks to your right.
Fake to Offley. There's Miller. He broke a tackle just momentarily. And they're going to give him a gain, a minimum gain of about a yard. Ortega, I believe, was the tackler.
He did a terrific job there after the initial man missed to make that tackle as he cut back to the inside. Been able to keep him, for the most part, bottled up even when he's made the catches.
A little quicker out of the quarterback's hands, and they had something there,
right.
John. 2nd down and 9 now for the Rams. They're going to throw it out there to the far side again. Bain's become a big target in this one, along with Miller. 3rd down, 9 to go now for the Rams.
That one telegraphed a little early by Wojcinski as he shifted his shoulders and completely really informed UMass Dartmouth's defense that he was going to throw to that side of the field, allowed them to jump the route a little bit. He's got to do a little more to keep the mystery before releasing the ball. Big play early in this second half now.
3 to the near side. Wojcinski throws far sideline. Got a man out there, incomplete down there at the 5-yard line. Devon Fuller back in coverage for UMD.
So the first time we've seen Fuller tested one-on-one like that and broke it up, and it's a good thing he did. It was right on target.
That's 2 drop touchdown passes by the Whiteouts for Framingham State today. That was a sure touchdown. 4th down and 9.
To say nothing of the overthrows that could have been touchdowns in the late second quarter.
He's got time. He's going to take off and run with it. He's got himself a first down, cuts it back inside. He's inside the 20-yard line, down to about the UMD 17. So Wojcinski, doing it with his feet, picks up the first.
Gutsy call, and that no man's land on the 34-yard line really doesn't make sense to punt or kick a field goal, so you might as well go for it. And broken play, and Wojcinski just goes improv on the Corsairs, who had nobody home in the second level of their defense.
1st and 10 from the Corsair 17. The Rams looking to answer the Corsair score of just moments ago. Pass it again. This is Miller. Miller's got himself down inside the 5, and a flag comes down.
It's right around where Miller caught the pass. So I was discussing this back in the first quarter, Jim. They're using picks from the other receivers to get Miller free on a lot of these plays. It hasn't been called yet. Sometimes you get offensive pass interference. Sometimes you get a block in the back. But Framingham, for the most part, has been allowed to skate in that regard so far today. It might be finally coming around again on them.
Let's go down to field side.
Holding offense number 24. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
That's Bain. You'll see he's one of the receivers, 24 from the inside. He's just going to throw a pick on that receiver before the ball's thrown. That's a pretty textbook penalty. Good to see the flag finally come out. They did that, remember, on the very first pass of the game. They ended up failing on a 4th and 1 thereafter, but same play, same idea.
Move the ball back to the 26-yard line. First in a bunch. And they're going to try to run it. They're doing a darn good job of it.
This is the kick returner.
That's the kick returner's right. That's right, and a flag down as well.
Flag came out at the very end of the play from that far side judge. So that's a look we hadn't seen. Karan Wright, the Worcester native, is somebody you typically just see in the kick game. They slip him in there on offense. Nobody was ready for it. And being 5'5" can work to your advantage if nobody can identify you or where you are.
Being at that height, you just
Personal
overlook
foul,
him.
face mask, defense number 7. Half the distance of the goal. Automatic. First down.
UMass Dartmouth commits the personal foul. Let's look on.
Now the silver lining there is he went most of the way to the end zone anyway, so the penalty's only going to be a yard or two. But that's what 360 is one spin. That's what, a 720 or maybe somewhere in between the two?
Well, the Russian judge gave it a 9. Ended up with the bronze, not the gold.
Those East Germans just can't let it go.
First and goal now for the Rams. Off lead the lone runner. He's going to take it right up the gut. UMass Dartmouth has him bottled up. Maybe a yard if you were lucky. Interior of that UMD defense. Tony Slaughter in there for the Corsairs. Second down now and goal. They've done a nice job in checking off lead this afternoon, John.
They certainly have, and I think that's why Wright got the touch that he got.
So Wojcinski brings him out on this second down and goal. High snap. Wojcinski's going to keep it, and UMass Dartmouth's ready for that, and they stall him again.
They weren't just ready. They were waiting as they were able to completely establish the line of scrimmage again behind the play, which is every defensive line coach's dream. You just had 4 Navy jerseys across at the 5-yard line waiting on the keeper there. Wojcinski really didn't fake anybody out.
Zach Rodricks off the bottom of the pile for the Corsairs. As we approach the 9-minute mark, it's a big drive here for Framingham State. Third down and goal.
Field goal would keep it at 2 scores. So if the Corsairs could get a stop here and make Framingham settle for 3, that'd be a big win for them.
Here's Offley looking for the cone. He's not going to get it. UMass Dartmouth gets him to the ground. And that was Louis Petrella was the first guy to get hold of him. Boy, the play calling by Framingham State, sometimes you just scratch your head.
Absolutely, and now this is the first time they've been tested in this situation. They are changing personnel, so it's like they're going to put a kicker on for a field goal. And we'll see if they go through with that or not.
Fourth down.
It's down by 2 touchdowns here. This is high time for a fake if they've got one in on a slick day, not good kicking conditions.
Rivers on to it. Attempt it. It's deflected. No points for Framingham. Big defensive stand by the Corsairs.
I'd say this has been kind of the flip side of the coin. We talk about the Corsairs missing extra points all the time. They've also had a knack for getting blocks in their home games as that comes right up the middle. And I believe it was that tackle that breaks through right there, coming away with the ball. Just can't get a good look at his jersey number in that shot, but a terrible job of protecting for that kick as they just let that break away from the middle.
You know, when the athletic director and our good friend Jack up here, when the football coach says, we'd like to get these uniforms, they never think of the broadcasters because we can't see the numbers. So we're going to ask our friend Jack next time they get uniforms, we want to be able to see the numbers. He's nodding in appreciation of that.
He's a former sports information director, so he feels our pain.
has a solid run on first down by the Corsairs, and they've just run and run and run. That's Burnham, the quarterback. Framingham's at, they've had no answer to stop this run. One of the best running teams in Division III college football in America are your Corsairs. Here's Burnham, and he comes up short.
Getting a little too cute there. Remember, they did execute that play to Bambos back in the first half where they really oversold that play fake and he ran forward and through. But you're in a situation where you've got the ball plus the 2-score lead. You're dominating with the run. So if you have another big run
Official
drive
timeout
here.
for injury.
You have another big run drive here, Jim. That's not only going to maybe put you up 3 scores if you score again, but you're also going to be able to take a big bite out of what's left of this game because Framingham can still seriously entertain the idea of scoring in the third quarter right now. But if you have a good 4, 5, 6-minute drive and take most of that away from them by the time they get the ball back again, regardless of the score, they're probably not going to score again until the fourth. So that's the opportunity that you've got here if you're Mark Robichaud, and there's a look.
So we have a momentary stop and play as there was an injured Framingham State player. Now we're ready to go. That's Coach Robichaud looking on. 3rd down and 4. And before this play gets started, whistles blow, flags fly. This is going to go against UMD.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's one of the big fellas, Pat Sullivan, the senior, 6'2" out of Everett, Mass. They grew him big up there in Everett, and
they certainly do.
They know how to play their high school football too, don't they?
And the 17 surrounding towns they get players from. Did I say that out loud again? No, jeez.
3rd and 9 here for the Corsairs. They run it to the far side, and they're going to get themselves a 1st down and more. That's Roy, the ball carrier, Stephen Roy. So most teams on 3rd and 9 will pass it. For UMass Dartmouth, it's a piece of cake.
Great job of blocking the outside. It's like having a swinging door to come back through when they've been running to the left sides of plays.
Here's Roy again to the left side. This time just a couple.
Well, this is what gets you in rhythm. You stay in a manageable down and distance. You keep that clock churning. No individual play looks all that great, but if you can string 5 or 6 of these together, you're going to own field position, you're going to own time of possession, and you're going to be wearing down a defense that might not have the endurance to go a full 60 tonight.
Here's the ball fake. Burnham gets it out here to the near side. And getting into Framingham territory is Stephen Roy, the running back.
And Roy tapping his helmet saying, you got to get me out of this game. I'm about to puke with all these touches I'm getting. But this is a great call here by Josh Sylvester, as this is a play that's really been set up by the strength of the run attack tonight.
And they run it again, and they keep on running it until you get tired. That's Sheridan, Eddie Sheridan for no gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10 to look at the UMD sideline.
I think there's some steam under these helmets on the sideline tonight.
Clock rolls, under 6.5 to play in the 3rd. This is Sheridan, the ball carrier. And Sheridan's down inside in the 45, and there's a flag as well.
Came right on the edge. That's usually holding, and those are the kinds of penalties that can really kill productive drives like this where you've got a good run attack.
Holding, offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
No love for the tackles here tonight, that's for sure. They're getting picked on time and time again.
Josh Bessie gets called for the infraction, and all those hard-earned running plays. Holding call puts you back to the 43-yard line. They have to advance the ball down to the Framingham State 39.
This is what makes it tough, is the run drives build one on top of another, and you really need to be able to have short distances in order to make them work. This sort of forces you into a passing situation.
Here's Burnham. Here's the rush, and Curry's just going to ditch it.
That's a good idea, as that play had fallen apart. Roy's getting tended to now on the bench for UMass Dartmouth as they're looking at one of his hands, which for a running back, of course, extremely important. Maybe poked in the eye as well, might be tending to a contact lens. Looks like that may be the deal. which is on the one hand good that he's not injured, but at the same time, who knows how long that takes to turn back around.
Kind of tough to run when you can't see, big fella.
You got to go with a Bob Greasy look, maybe.
3rd down and a long Uber ride to go, and UMass Dartmouth got big chunks of yardage. They're going to be very close to that 1st down.
It's a couple yards shy, but when you needed 18, that really helps you, especially when you've been struggling in the punting game. This gives you a chance to help flip the field position, but they're going to keep the offense on the field here. Great burst of speed there by Sheridan.
And they're going to get Framingham State for too many players on the field. Did they throw the flag?
Are you going to tell me that they're not going to throw that flag again?
They didn't throw the flag. Let's see.
I mean, they got away with it once in the first half, and we showed you they were caught red-handed on our replay. The officials are now talking. Now, they haven't thrown a flag yet, so they're going to have to drop it and try to save face, if anything. Corsair offense was set and ready to go, so it's not as though they had an illegal formation or anything. You've got to call something. I mean, you saw how helter-skelter it was with players coming on and off when the ball was being snapped. I mean, if we can hold that still for a second, there's 5, 9, there's 13 players on the field, James. Come on.
You're talking to someone who coached with Division III officials. It was so obvious, I don't know what you can say there. No one threw the flag, so let's see what we have. UMass offense still out there.
I mean, I guess it's not technically 12 men on the field if it was 13.
First down, Framingham State.
Oh,
you can play
gracious.
real good defense when it's 13 on 11. I can tell you that much.
You know, if you're Coach Robichaud, right, you practice this all week. You practice a situation like this, and then you do it, and then the officials just completely miss it.
And now there is a flag on the field, so they're going to flag the UMass Dartmouth bench. I mean, this is how you stop drawing assignments. And Steve Faneuil's got to be careful he doesn't get himself thrown out of this game. As he came out on the field, Mark Robichaud tried to keep him back. This is the officials tell people that I only want to talk to the head coach during a game. I don't want any other coaches in my face during a game. The head coach can give it to me just fine. And so I believe that's probably the nature of the penalty. But, I mean, the normal rules of decor go out the window.
All right, you folks at home, let's see how well you can count.
I mean, you see the substitutions coming on and off. They've got 2 coming on, 2 going out, and the substitutions never happen. Neither of the 2 leaving the field ever get off.
Conduct, number 4.
So you've got
15-yard
13
penalty
on the field.
Another unsportsmanlike conduct, he'll be ejected from the game.
And so rather than throwing that on the UMass Dartmouth bench, they throw it on Abby Bambos. And, of course, you've got the Odell Beckham, Josh Norman rules in place now. So if another one gets called, he gets thrown out of the game. That's one that you at least could have saved face by calling it against the bench. I mean, throw me a bone here somewhere, guys.
Well, the crowd not too happy along the near side. 1st and 10 now for Framingham State. UMass Dartmouth looking to chase the quarterback, and they give him a shot, and they have to be very careful. I think it was Marty Methuen.
Yeah, that's a textbook intentional grounding. No flag for that. He's running for his life backwards inside the tackles, just throws the ball, doesn't have a receiver on that half of the field. But that's no problem.
2nd down and 10 now for Framingham. Might be chilly on the field, but it's hot along the UMass Dartmouth sideline and up here in the press box. 2nd down and 10. Just over 5 to play in the 3rd. Here's Wojcinski. Here's the rush. Throws it way down here to the near sideline, and it's picked off by UMass Dartmouth. That's Trent Barnes turning over Framingham State. We have a flag down as well.
Flag on the play.
No flag
Hey, how
for
about
roughing the
that?
passer. 99 was pushed into the passer by the opposing team.
Barnes did everything but call for a fair catch there, Jim. He was the only receiver anywhere close. It looked like a punt return. And this is just a total overthrow. Maybe they didn't have the right route called in the huddle, but I just don't see how you can put that ball up there if you can't see how your receiver is going to get to the spot before you let the ball go. But that's not the Corsairs' issue, and sometimes it helps to have a little goodwill or bad will as it is built up with the referees. That's not a penalty you can afford to throw in that situation if you want to live through the end of the night.
So let me get this right. There's 13 guys on the field. The officials saw that. Now there's an obvious roughing the passer and he picks up the flag. So that's what you call a makeup, which is a famous song. Make up to break up, that's all. It goes like that. You weren't born back then.
No, I wasn't.
But that was a makeup call. But it helps the Corsairs. But it really changes the field position. UMass Dartmouth would have had a great field position and kept possession of the ball. So it's been helter-skelter here in the third. 4:46 with the clock stopped. Third and a couple now for Framingham State. And it's been all UMass Dartmouth. They've really had Framingham State playing on their heels most of this game, John.
And what Framingham's had tonight has been largely based on UMD mistakes.
And they get it out to the 20 and a first down.
That's Roy. He's back out there, so he's got himself some new contacts. Or does he? I don't know. He's asking to come off again right after this play.
Well, you know the contacts are in because he went to the right bench.
Good point.
UMass Dartmouth right up to that line of scrimmage. They don't waste any time. And they get it out across the 20. Ball is loose, but I think they're going to call the runner down. That was Sheridan, the ball carrier. Camera people here at DCTV, they're having a hard time staying up with the plays.
Yeah, this is our own little Vince Scully tribute that we're doing this weekend. They used to put the graphics on the screen by hand back when he got started with the Brooklyn Dodgers. You're seeing a little of that today, keeping that high camera dry.
Here's Roy. Roy's out for another solid game. Boy, are they tough. Aaron Owens, the tackler for Framingham State. Be third down and 4 to go for UMass Dartmouth. Here's Sheridan, the ball carrier. He's going to be very close. I think they're going to mark him a yard short.
That makes for a very tough call at a fourth down situation. And you know you're not going to get a too many men on the field flag, that's for sure. So you're going to have to play them up mano a mano if you're going to go for it. They certainly want to go for it. It's listed as 4th and 2, really only 1, and now they're making a late change. Now they're going to have to hurry this operation up, Jim. You're down to 15 seconds on the play clock. Got to get this snapped in a hurry. And for a punt unit that's already struggled mightily today, this is the last thing they need is to be under the gun time-wise. 5, now 4, 3, and they get it away.
Nice kick here to the near side. Miller looking up at it.
Taking that bounce inbounds is a boon for UMass Dartmouth as you get most of that bounce yardage.
And they're going to mark it down at the 24-yard line.
It's a 47-yard punt, no return. That's the best outcome the Corsairs have had on a punt either way tonight. Terrific job there by Wadsworth. Things like that help you win games. So even though you don't score on that drive, remember you started up, backed all the way inside your own 5. To be able to get out from under your own goalposts and flip the field back over is a big win for UMD.
And the UMD defense has been stellar here tonight. Look here along the near sideline. Pretty good crowd here on not the best of nights weather-wise. Wojcinski throws out to the far side. He's got his man and stepping out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. That's Miller.
Now, if you're the Corsairs, you've just got to be smart defensively. Nothing cheap, nothing deep. You want to keep things in front of you, keep things to the inside. Make sure you're not allowing things after the catch. You can play the field position game here for a little while, hope to catch a penalty, hope to catch a negative yardage play. Keep all the pressure on Framingham.
Wojcinski looking near side. Bain couldn't hold on to it.
Marvin Mathurin was just in a little too shallow. If he had been playing center field a little bit more, that would have been a cookie interception. Just took a bad angle off the bounce.
They've had one too many drops, have the wideouts for Framingham here this evening. They've dropped 2 sure touchdown passes. And that just added to the collection. 3rd and 5 for Framingham. They've struggled mightily on the offensive side of the football. Some of it the defense of UMass Dartmouth and some of it on their own poor play. And it's the quarterback draw. Wojcinski looking for that first down marker. He's going to be a yard short. Just going to be short.
That's
Marty
a terrific
Methuen
job. by UMass Dartmouth's defense. Mathurin celebrating Randy Butler, doing the dirty work there, bringing him down. And plays like that 1 yard can make such a big difference, because remember, that's what you gained with the field position. If you were playing lousy field position like the Corsairs were for the most of the second quarter, almost all of the third quarter, they'd be going for it here. But they're so deep in their own end, they can't afford the risk.
Nice high kick. Scott Tupper back there to receive it. Just got a lot of bounce in front of him and takes a ram bounce. And it'll be down right smack at the 20-yard line with just 1:35 to go in the third. It's UMass Dartmouth 20, Framingham State 7. Am I not correct that in preseason UMass Dartmouth was figured to be 7th in the conference? Am I right on that?
They were, yes, and Framingham has been the champion of this league outright multiple years in a row. So this is an opportunity for the Corsairs to try to climb the ladder a little bit. Now, we won't be printing any T-shirts necessarily if they win this game. They did just lose to Plymouth State, so that will be a difficult thing for them to overcome. But this is where the Corsairs have gotten knocked off course. Each of the last 3 years, they have a chance to be a legitimate contender in October if they can get this game.
Mike Slaughter, the ball carrier, coming up and making the stop for Framingham was Jean. Did you like that?
That's how they say it in Brockton, yes.
Second. Here's a run by Steve Roy to the near side, and they got him pinned. Might have gained a yard back to the original line of scrimmage. Third down and long for the Corsairs. Under a minute to play in the third.
Want to be able to keep the clock rolling, either a run or something that's high percentage pass. You want to be able to expire this third quarter with the ball, whether you pick up the first down or not. Remember, having that extra little bit of the third quarter was what helped the Corsairs spring that big comeback against Hartwick back in week 2.
Just managing the clock here, which is a very good idea. And they run it on this third down play, and that's Sheridan. And waiting for the whistle to blow. Finally does. Going to be short of the first.
That's a smart decision to keep it on the ground, because that guarantees that you don't have to punt the ball away until the fourth quarter, and that allows you to make the change on the field. And now you're forcing Framingham to know we've got to overcome a 2-touchdown deficit in 1 quarter of play, and that really does make a difference.
Well, we have 15 more minutes of football to go here from North Dartmouth. The score at the end of the third quarter, it's UMass Dartmouth 20, Framingham State 7. No points in the third for Framingham State. Corsairs put up 7.
That's exactly what they needed to do. Now, you're a little concerned from an offensive standpoint for UMass Dartmouth, because it's a little bit of a repeat of the first half. All the offense that went up on the scoreboard happened right away on that first drive. So that's 13 minutes of play now where the Corsairs have not added to their score. But you can't ask for a much better situation than this, being at home, up by 2 touchdowns, headed to the fourth quarter on your home field. The Corsairs, could they have a bigger lead in this game? Yeah, sure. There's 4 or 5 different things that could have broken their way, and maybe this would be out of reach right now. But you've got a great opportunity to have a program-defining victory here today. How you got here is less important than how you get through here. You've got to find a way through these 15 minutes. And I'll tell you what, it will be an exciting night and weekend on campus. And you'll have a buzz about this football team at this school in the month of October if you can find a way to the finish line here today, because this will raise some eyebrows if they can get it.
So we begin the call of the final 15 minutes here from Cressy. Wright is back at his 35 to receive the kick. Here comes the rush by Framingham State. It's a short punt. It's got to bounce at midfield and roll back. Let's see where they spot it. They'll spot it right at the midfield stripe. So UMass Dartmouth has struggled punting the ball here tonight. But the offense for Framingham State is struggle as well. They have outstanding field position here. Let's see what they do with it, John.
They got just enough out of, not that punt, but the one prior. They get just enough field position to force Framingham to punt in a situation where they didn't want to punt. And that, when this game finishes up, could end up being a big, big factor in the final outcome.
Wojcicki, the backup quarterback, will start period 4. Here's Offley. They've done a good job hemming him in all night. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it.
Now, Offley's had big games for Framingham this year, but he's really been rendered a non-factor tonight. And that's one of those things that's, you know, in the Belichick textbook. All right, what's your strength? I'm going to take that away and force you to do something else. That's what the Corsairs have really been able to do to this Framingham rushing attack tonight.
Big number 70 Morris credited with the tackle. 2nd down and 9. Brzezinski's got 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Miller, single covered down the bottom. The ball is deflected. Bring up 3rd down.
A little bit of alligator arms there by Miller coming through on the play. I thought he was going to have a chance at that after the deflection. Pulled up a little, just kind of threw the one hand out at it. Those are the kinds of plays you need to have max effort if you're going to come back from down 13. Could have certainly gotten you 5 and made this a lot more manageable than what you're dealing with now.
Got the good socks on. Right in there as one of the running backs.
Corsairs look like they're going to blitz.
There's a movement on wide out here on the near side. That's going to back Framingham up 5.
Right to the snap.
That's on Colicchio, the wide receiver to our near side. And I'll tell you, Jim, that's not the first time he's done that on this series. I didn't say anything, but he left early on the 1st down snap as well. Didn't end up being consequential because they didn't go his way. But give a lot of credit there to Trent Barnes, because if he didn't point it out, I don't think that flag was going to get thrown.
You know, scouting Framingham State coming into this one, they rushed for 150, they passed for 188. Balance, but not really a lot, and you're seeing it here today against a good defense. They really struggled. Here's Colicchio's got time, throws over the middle and a diving catch. What a grab.
It's a way to make up for being penalized. Wow, he's the one that was guilty of the false start. And this is just a tremendous individual effort. Ball thrown a little too far out across the field. Rises above and makes that dive and grab, keeps the drive alive and gets a 1st down.
Spotted at the UMD 37. Brzezinski with a nice toss there. Throw it out here to the near side. That's Bain. That's going to come back, John. That was an obvious pick. Flag is down in front of the UMass Dartmouth bench, but this is coming back.
Well, they've been doing this all night, and this is the 2nd time now that they've been called for it. You can do this. You can get away with it a certain number of times over the course of an evening, but if you're repeatedly doing it over and over again, particularly if you're throwing to the inside receiver all the time, you're just not going to be able to get away with it all night. And I think that might be the message the officials are communicating to Framingham right now. Is like, look, guys, we can let you do this a couple times. We can't let you do it all the time.
Offense number 3, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, 1st down.
So Colicchio's gone in motion, illegal motion. He's come up with an outstanding catch and gets called here for the infraction. That'll back him up.
It's been quite the roller coaster between him and Trent Barnes. The two of them are making big good plays and big bad plays.
If I was Donald Trump, I'd say that backs him up big league.
That's right, exactly.
1st and 25. Here's the rush. And down he goes, back at the 35-yard line. Marvy Methuen, why not? Who else?
Now, Metheren's been showing blitz for several plays now, but peeling into coverage. This time he actually comes and he gets just enough to trip him up and get him to the ground. And he got him at the very, very end of his drop back, too, so all of the negative yardage counts.
Loss of 13. It'll bring up 3rd down in a ride to Framingham State for the 1st. They got to get it down to about the 37-yard line of UMass Dartmouth.
Wow. Remember that penalty before, 37.
Here comes the rush again. They get it out to right. He takes a pop here at the 37-yard line. Woo!
Tony Slaughter saying, hi, how are you, to Kieran Wright here. Wow.
Well, that was a gain of 3 on the play.
We've called Tony Slaughter's name only twice tonight, but boy, have they been 2 big plays. They're keeping the offense on the field here, Jim. They've got basically no chance of converting this.
Well, they had the down marker wrong.
Third down.
They had it wrong. You were right. They had it down. They switched it back, and it is third down.
First time
Repeat the down off the penalty.
Right.
Now, this timeout they announced as Framingham State's. The other official pointed it to UMass Dartmouth's side, so I'm not even sure who called this. Nevertheless, important play in this game. Now, the thing for UMass Dartmouth is you can't take a penalty here.
Correction.
You can't
Timeouts on UMass Dartmouth.
There you go. So it's a UMass Dartmouth timeout, as the other official had indicated. And just comes down to playing smart here. And we'll take a look at Slaughter here, see where this contact was as he delivers the hit. They're probably looking for helmet-to-helmet there over on the Framingham bench. But the thing is, when you're throwing it to a 5'5" receiver, where are you supposed to hit it?
Not in the helmet.
No,
but he didn't.
helmet.
I don't think he got him in the helmet. I think he got him.
Well, you know, a lot of times you can have contact that ends up involving the helmet that isn't necessarily a helmet-to-helmet, you know, a striking hit, as you would say. So there you see, I mean, Wright's pretty much standing straight up. And this is a shot.
Leading with his head.
Leading, yep.
Third in the bundle. Here's Wright, the ball carrying. He's out to midfield. He spins out of bounds to the UMD sideline. And
now that's a great play for Framingham because it gets them out of trouble with respect to field position. Now the question becomes, did he get enough there that they're going to be tempted to go for it on fourth down? Because you're right at midfield, but you still need just a ton of yardage. They still are looking at needing 22 more yards. They need the UMass Dartmouth 28 for a new set of downs. So they're going to show you the punt team here, and this is a thing where you probably can't even fake it, just because even if you completed a pass, it might not be long enough for a first down.
Scott Tupper for UMass Dartmouth stands deep to receive.
And a good job by the Corsairs not rushing it.
That's another nice kick by Framingham State to pin UMass Dartmouth deep within their own territory. They're going to mark it at the 15-yard line, where UMass will have it with just over 11 minutes to go. They have the ball. They have the lead at 20-7. I'm Jim Thompson alongside John Cabral. We welcome you to this telecast, an internet cast of UMass Dartmouth football. We want to thank the fine folks in the athletic department here at the university, and of course the production done by DCTV Channel 9 in the town of Dartmouth, where this great university is located.
Give a lot of credit there to Ryan Struthers, the special teams coach. All four of the down men on that punt rush for the Corsairs just jumped straight up. No risk of taking a roughing flag there.
So penalty on that run play. That was Sheridan, the ball carrier.
Corsairs have to be careful here. You've got the points you need to win the game. You need to be able to run for first downs and run for clock.
Number 57. Half the distance of the goal, repeat, first down.
And these are the kinds of plays that are going to force you into passing situations you don't want to be in, which is the one thing you just can't have in this situation. You want to be able to stack the deck against Framingham on the scoreboard. You've got the 2-score lead, and the less clock there is, the bigger that lead effectively becomes. So you want to get that clock winding. You want to keep it moving at all costs. You want to be able to continue with running plays. And you just can't afford to be in the 1st and 18s like they are right now.
They're just looking for.
I don't think they got a reset on that play clock. It's down to 5.
This is Slaughter. Slaughter's got running room. Breaks through. Slaughter's still on his feet. Look out. He may go. They're not going to catch him. He's going to go down and in for the touchdown. And that is a backbreaker for Framingham State College.
There's a flag on the play, as it looked like somebody threw an elbow toward the end of the play. Mike Slaughter just can't handle us talking nice about his brother. It's quite the sibling rivalry. He's just saying, stop talking about Tony. You need me to take it 82 to the house to get you to shut up about him? Fine, I'll do it. And that's what he does there. So the flag appears to be after the touchdown. So regardless of who it's against, it should stay points for the Corsairs.
They might have thrown the football. Might have thrown the football after he got into the end zone.
He might have done it before he was in the end zone, too. We're going to want to take another look at that because I kind of recoiled like he might have done it before he was through. Now, I don't believe they called that on the field, so I don't think they can change that call. But in the event that that were the call, that would be a touchback for Framingham, which obviously would be a disaster.
After the play, personal foul, number 1 on the defense. 15, correction. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct celebration, number 1. Penalties offset, touchdown stands.
Well, that's the only thing that matters. And now we'll get another look at it. Take a look at Slaughter. This went from the 8, not the 18. They needed 18 to go, so that means he takes it 92 up the gut. Huge block there by Roy to spring Slaughter free. Slaughter's looking over both shoulders, but he had a convoy. He had Bambos behind him, so that allows him to get in. And I think he threw that ball before he was across the goal line. I don't think we have a shot from that end zone, but I think he might have let that fly. Yes.
All right, guys in the truck, let's see if John Cabral is right as the extra point makes the score 27-7.
You got to make sure both feet are on paint before you let that fly. I don't know if we'll ever be able to tell for sure from this angle, but his foot definitely wasn't down in the end zone yet. The ball might have broken the plane, but that's way too close for comfort.
Well, you folks, let's look at it again. Whoop, let's back it up, guys. Doesn't really matter. The touchdown stands.
It stands, so it'll remain a mystery, but
I think you folks up in Framingham might be a little nervous looking at this score, but those of us who have watched UMass Dartmouth football this year, they have the best running game in the conference. And I don't care. I haven't seen the other teams in the conference, but no one can run the football like them. They're in the top 10 in the United States in Division III and running the football.
You just never know for sure, but if you guys, you running backs, are watching this in your dorm room, just do me a favor next week. I want 2, maybe even 3 steps on blue paint, just to be sure. You guys work hard. You deserve the credit. You don't deserve that ball going out to the 25 and no points, which is what you're risking there.
(27-7). UMass Dartmouth was pinned deep in their own territory, and they rip off an 82-yard touchdown run to break this game wide open with just over 10 minutes to play. And the funny thing about this is, John, is when you play UMass Dartmouth, you know they're going to run the ball. All you have to do is stop them. And I guess Plymouth State's the only team really that has stopped them. They lost to Hartwick early. Lost to Hartwick College earlier in the season.
But put up 40 in that game.
Put up
so they
over,
scored 40 their first 3 times out. And they've got still a chance to do it today. Hard to do when you run the ball all the time because it's so time-consuming.
Well, they kick it away, and here's Wright. And he's going to flip it back. And out across the 40, rumbles Nasia Thomas, who was tripped up by Sammy Bullock. So a little trickery, gains him a few more yards. They'll spot it at the 40, but now trailing by 20 points. And this offense has struggled all night long. They've utilized 2 quarterbacks. Hoffley had a good first quarter, but UMass Dartmouth really has focused on him, and they've shut him down. And the offense basically has been stagnant for the Rams. And here comes the rush, and down he goes. And that's a loss of 5 on the play.
Got to him from the tackle position initially, and then everybody else finished him off. That was just a meet me at the quarterback type of a situation. And we'll see who comes through there. From the middle position, you see Flynn breaking it down, but then who's really getting there is Calvin Morris, the freshman out of Milton. Not a bad play to get out of a freshman in a situation like this. A winding clock is your best friend any way you can get it for the Corsairs.
And they run it here, and they get themselves a good run. That's the quarterback out across the 45 and out to the 47. Will bring up 3rd down and about 4. Slaughter on the tackle. That big fella Morris, he played against Dartmouth High in a couple of Super Bowls.
Slaughter less than deceived by the head fake.
Wojcicki to right. The little fella's got himself a first down and more. Look out, he could break it. He's down the sideline and he's going to be hauled down inside the 5, and flags all over the place.
And the flag will be a horse collar, but that's the price you pay. Tony Slaughter takes that flag. If I'm a UMass Dartmouth coach, that's no problem at all. Good job, attaboy. You pat him on the back, tell him to do it again, because it prevents a touchdown. And that was the whole point. He wasn't going to get him any other way.
We haven't seen much of Wright, but he's got some wheels.
He sure does, and he can turn it up, too. Gets to that extra level of speed. Slaughter took a pretty good angle. He still got wasted.
Number 26, defense. Half the distance of the goal, automatic first down.
Slaughter saved the touchdown.
For now, anyway. And if you need a big comeback of 3 scores or more, the way to get it is to get that first one really quick, and that's what Framingham's on the verge of doing right now.
Wojcicki's going to throw for it. Far corner, jump ball, incomplete. Anthony LaRose defending for the Corsairs.
You've run the ball at will the whole way down the field here. Now you only need 2 yards, and you're going to this high-risk pass where you let a defender get 2 hands on the ball. Barney's coming up big for UMass Dartmouth again there. Just don't understand. You know, I understand normally you throw because you're trying to conserve time, but if 2 yards will stop the clock, you ought to run. It's been their bread and butter all day, or at least a higher percentage pass, some of that inside stuff that they've been hitting.
Bain in there as a running back now. He's got the football, and he is down and, let's see, just shy of the goal line. Just short. Just inside the 1.
Corsairs looking for their first win in this matchup since back in 1997. It's November 2nd of 97. 26-7, very similar with the final score that day.
Here's Bain again, and he's in for the touchdown.
Well, he must have gotten it with second effort. Didn't look like he had it initially. He got up off the turf at about the 1.5-yard line. So if he got in, he didn't get in by much.
So the offense that has struggled all evening long puts up a nice drive there, and they just get it across.
Official timeout for injury.
It looks like a Vinny Testaverde touchdown to me.
For our young viewers, you wish to explain?
Well, that's the reason why we have instant replay in the NFL again. It was a game that they had against the Seattle Seahawks where I believe the very crown of his helmet might have been inside the 1-yard line a little bit, but they called a touchdown on the play, and that was the Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend after they'd screwed up the coin toss in Detroit. And, you know, one thing led to another. Now we've got challenges.
Kick is up, and it is good. And would that be on Thanksgiving that Barnstable lost another cliffhanger when you were a student there, or you were just a young fella back then?
Yeah, that was before I was, dressing out, but that was in the glory days. So I don't think they dropped the game that day. I think I was in a pretty good mood when that happened. But take another look at this. He stood up outside the 1-yard line. He does make a push, but he's getting pushed back against pretty well by Brandon Miller. If that ball get in the end zone, I would be hard-pressed to find when exactly that would have occurred.
Well, we just have over 8 minutes to play in this one. UMass Dartmouth 27, Framingham State 14.
But if the Corsairs caught a break on the goal line on their touchdown, then it all works out. Got another stat in for you.
You did.
For Megan Herbs upstairs. Framingham has not lost a conference game since 2000, wait for it, 11.
Really?
It's a long time ago.
Well, UMass Dartmouth is looking for the onside kick. 5 across up front. Looks like an umbrella defense behind them.
So it's on this running attack for UMass Dartmouth. You've got to find a way to make 806 disappear.
And it comes up and immediately pounced upon here at the 45-yard line. Nice play by UMass Dartmouth. That's Micah Gregory, who's also a wideout.
You want something done right, you give it to a Barnstable Red Raider, Jim. That's just how it works.
Yeah, I noticed that that was a nice play by him, but he can't crack the starting lineup. Most responsible kids who go on to college, but the broadcasters do well.
That's right. That's right. Being told as well by Megan that they've never lost a MassCAC game. Period. Now the MassCAC in its infancy as an official football conference, but Framingham has been top dog for the entirety of that time.
Well, they have just over 8 minutes to put this away as Stephen Roy's looking for running room. Back to the line of scrimmage. That's as far as he gets.
I'll tell you,
Minch made the tackle.
Before this game's over, Jim, I think we're going to see a huge punting situation for the Corsairs where they're going to need to make a kick for field position, because right now they're in plus field position at the plus 45, and they need to keep it that way. So when you get nothing on first down and you want to keep it running and everybody knows you're going to run, it's unlikely you're going to pick up a first down in these circumstances. So you're going to need to be able to get a punt that knocks them back inside their own 15 so they can't come out and put another quick score on you and really extend what's left of this clock. You need to keep the clock at your advantage for as long as possible.
I mean, they're a fast-paced team, and that's what they're doing. They milked the play clock down big time that time, and look at a solid run by Sheridan. Got it down to the 41-yard line.
That's
going to bring up 3rd down and 5.
Amazing run by Sheridan here. Remember, everybody in the building knows he's getting the ball. He runs into the line. He's stood up at the line of scrimmage. He's able to spin. He's getting pushed by his own man there. Sullivan's kind of guiding him along, and those yards are absolutely huge. This gives them a legitimate chance to get a first down now, which they had no business getting when he got stood up. And it keeps that clock moving, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
UMass Dartmouth just looking to the sideline. The play
and
clock
they might
under
even call
10.
a timeout here at 1, the way it's going. And they're going to try to rush this up.
This is Stephen Roy looking for a running room, spinning in there. Nothing doing for Roy, and that'll bring up 4th down. Forcing him into the inside was Brandon Bryant for Framingham. And UMass Dartmouth now, will they kick it away or will they go for it on this 4th down and 6?
That's Framingham's first timeout. That's assiduous by them. It keeps the clock from free falling under 6 minutes, and they still have 2 left. So that's a very good call there by Framingham to extend the game. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, Jim. The punting has been the Achilles heel for UMass Dartmouth all day today. A big reason why Framingham's been able to hang in this game as long as they have is because they've had good field position for most of the day. And a lot of that has had to do with excellent punts by Framingham, but then lousy punts by UMass Dartmouth. So this becomes, you know, for all that's happened today, all the running backs, all the receivers, quarterbacks that have made plays, Kevin Wadsworth right now, who's going to get the call out there as punter, becomes the most important player in this game. Because if he can put Framingham inside their own 15, I think it's too high of a mountain to climb for Framingham. But if you get a shank, you get a block, or some kind of a returnable kick, Framingham's going to have a real chance to come back in the final 6 minutes.
Good snap, no rush, good kick, fair catch call for, and it takes a good bounce for UMass Dartmouth and then took a roll back. Miller did a nice job faking that. It looked like that ball was just going to be bouncing back in UMD's favor, but John, it's an oval ball, it's not round, and it can take many different kind of bounces.
And it took the wrong one there. Remember, 25 is the yard line on, 20 is the yard line still in the college game on touchbacks, but that's a lot better than it would have been out at the 3 or the 4.
So Wojcinski now with just over 6 minutes to go, has his team ready to roll. And we have another stop and play. They're actually going to move the ball to the far hash.
Why? It was a touchback.
Wojcinski looks near side, throws. Baines got it across the 25 out to the 26.
Jim, if you're UMass Dartmouth, you can have that play as many times as you want over the middle of the field. Isn't enough for a first down. Keeps the clock moving. You've got to peel people up off the ground to get lined up again. Have as many of those as you want, boys. Eat up. This has taken them over 25 seconds now to get another play run, and they didn't gain a first down out of it. Corsairs will make that deal.
Wojcinski go for the home run ball, far sideline. Got a man out there. It's caught down inside the 40-yard line. That's Miller on the reception.
The play Framingham hadn't been able to hit all day. That's the play they've been trying to set up all day. Miller's been a potential home run hitter all day. Here he gets one and knocks it over the fence, and that puts Framingham right back in the game. Suddenly that 5:38's a lot more time than it was one snap ago.
Ball at the 33 with Jensky's going to be hit and knocked down. Racing across was Anthony LaRose.
Just a huge play with momentum in the game on the line. Throws off the down and distance. You see, this is just a stunt. He comes through on his own. Nobody picks him up. And again, no blitz pickup from the running back position. Really hurts the Rams. It's happened to them a couple of times today.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. High snap. Flag down.
And that's the receiver he moved. And this is, we've seen the histrionics from Miller all day today, Jim. He's expecting the ball on a receiver screen there.
5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So he peels out early. He's guilty of a penalty. They didn't throw it initially, and he throws up his hands as if to say, why am I not getting the ball? Well, you need to lay low and make sure nobody's looking at you in that situation.
2nd and just under 20 to go now for the Rams. They haven't lost in a few years in conference play. Jensky's got room to the far side. Cracks it down inside the 35.
It's another one. Go ahead and have it. Quarterback takes a big hit, takes a long time to get reset, and the clock winds, and you're still looking at 3rd and long. So even though that's for big yards, because you've got a 2-score lead and it's late, you can live with that for UMass Dartmouth. You just can't get beat over your head like they did on the big pass play.
3rd and 10. Jensky looks near side, throws, got a man. That's enough for a 1st down and more. That's Bain, and Bain is down inside the 5-yard line, where he's finally ridden out of bounds.
Now this is a killer.
Alex Ortega with the tackle.
Yes, it is in front of your face, but nobody's there to make the tackle. You need to wrap up and get the immediate stops. Can't allow the big stuff after the catch. Did not get out of bounds, though, so the clock is still winding here. It'll go under 4 minutes on this snap.
Offley has not been in the backfield. It's been Wright, the runner. There he is, number 2. 1st and goal. Gonna throw it back. No one here. Just throws it away. Bring up 2nd down.
Big hit on the throw as well. As for not the first time today, we saw Lou Petrella come in and deliver quite the shot.
27-14, UMass Dartmouth, 3:52 remaining in the ball game.
And a field goal does you no good at all for Framingham, down by 2 touchdowns. You need 6.
Jensky to Wright. Wright cuts it back inside, and he is down and in for a Ram touchdown with 3:47 to go. And all of a sudden, we got ourselves a ball game, John Cabral.
3:47 is a lot of time. That's why that punt was so important, and that's why the field position was so important, because the Corsairs needed to, if they were to allow a scoring drive, they needed that drive to take us into the last 2 minutes of the game. They didn't. Wright took himself off course there. They had a chance to really step up on him, try to get him for negative yardage, but a terrific cutback. Being so small is an advantage because you can make the shift so much quicker, and that's what gets them into the end zone here. So this becomes an important extra point. Down by 7. If they can turn it into 6, there's a possibility and a path for Framingham to come back and win this game in regulation. So, you know, given those numbers we gave you, that they haven't lost a league game since 2011, and that the Corsairs haven't beaten them in 19 years, you know, that raises the stakes pretty high. And you know it wasn't going to come easy, but a lot of time still left. Corsairs going to have to go win this on the field with their offense running the ball now.
Operation looks good. The kick is up, and it's wide to the left. So they don't get the extra point, and that could come back to haunt them big time.
It could, but it's still a 1-score game. You know, they had to get a touchdown again anyway, so that part of it hasn't changed. And now into decision time comes over on that Framingham sideline. Tom Kelly, the 10th-year head coach, already called for one onside kick. They didn't get it, but if you're willing to do it then, I'd have to think they'd be willing to do it again now. But it is a little different here, Jim, because they have 2 timeouts. You can stop the clock pretty quick a couple of times. The other thing is where you're right on the outer edge of a 1-score game, if you start the Corsairs off at the 45 and they pick up maybe only 1 or 2 first downs, they could kick a field goal and push the game out of reach at 2 scores. So that's a factor that you didn't think about quite as much at 2 touchdowns. Now at 1 touchdown, you have to. So they may elect to kick this one deep, and the Corsairs are prepared for everything. They've got kind of a quasi-hands team out there with 2 guys still back a little deep just in case they pop it overhead.
So St. Marie will kick it from the 35.
It's an opportunity to get good field position because you don't have the normal blockers out there. So you can get your guys down there quick and make a tackle if you kick deep.
9 men up for UMD. St. Marie is going to kick it away. And this is Stephen Roy from his 15. And he just takes a knee as he crosses the 20.
And that's exactly why what I was telling you before is he knows he doesn't have his normal beefy lineman out there blocking in front of him. He's got a bunch of receivers and running backs, and that's not what you want when you've got 10 guys trying to take your head off. So he takes a knee, you make sure you don't put it on the ground, and it ultimately comes down to this offense for UMass Dartmouth that's made it happen in the running game all day long. You're in what they call the 4-minute offense. You need a first down to hang on to the ball. You probably need a second first down to get Framingham to expire their timeouts, and then you need a third first down to get it to 000. That's the challenge for UMD here.
Here's Stephen Roy, and Roy's going to be bottled up. Campbell Marchant.
Now, that's really a disaster for UMass Dartmouth because everybody saw that coming on the Framingham defense out of the huddle. If you had had maybe a counter there or somewhere you could have gone back the other way, could have been for good yards. But instead, a negative yardage play, when you have to run the ball, it pretty much guarantees you're not going to pick up a first down. So you're back in that scenario where you're punting and you're playing defense to try to win the game unless something unforeseen happens.
In running this type of offense, where you're up off the ground and ready to go, this takes you out of rhythm. This isn't what you're used to doing. And you're running the clock down, which you're supposed to be doing, but it just takes the rhythm away a little bit. There's Burnham. He's going to throw it long, deep over the middle. Incomplete, and a flag.
Well, we'll see what this flag is. You have to think it's probably a pass interference, which would be pretty surprising because Wadsworth had an opportunity to catch the ball and hit him in the hands. And if you essentially decide the game on that flag, you think the UMass Dartmouth sideline was mad earlier. This is a bonus timeout and a 3rd and long that they would have gotten. Looked like there was more contact with the feet than the hands.
Defense number 7. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
So UMD gets a big break. Rashawn Rivers, a sophomore out of Westfield, Mass.
There's really no way to understate how big of a penalty that is, Jim. If you don't throw that flag, then it's going to be 3rd and 12 with 2:51 to go, and you still have 2 timeouts. You're going to get the ball back and a timeout.
It's a good call.
I just don't see how you can decide a game with that call.
Well, you have a
not my problem.
You know, if you watch enough of these games over the years, you'd know why. Some people referee at Division 1, some at 2, some at 3. You figure it out from there. 1st and 10, UMass Dartmouth. Here's Stephen Roy looking for room, and he's got a good run on that first down. Out to the 43-yard line, gain of 7.
And it's hard. You know, you've been down there in the trenches all night long as a defensive lineman, a defensive end. You're banging around trying to get that ball back one more time. You think you've made this big breakthrough, and then a flag takes it away from you. It's hard to line up and go play against this offensive line on the very next snap. You can get beaten mentally, and I think that's what happened to Framingham right there. So the 2 timeouts don't do you any good if you can't stop the opponent from getting first downs, and that's the spot they find themselves in here. They really need a stuff or a negative yardage play to give themselves a legitimate chance to get the ball back.
The first down here for UMass Dartmouth would give them an excellent shot at pulling this game out. And here's Roy. He's looking for that first down. He pushes the power forward, and he's got it. So they're going to get 3 more cracks at it. 2 minutes exactly to go here at Cressy Field. It's UMass Dartmouth 27, Framingham State 20.
So we're not done just yet, because with those 2 timeouts, you can force a 4th down. You can't necessarily get the ball back, but you can force 4 downs. And that can mean that you can get the ball back. It all comes down to what UMass Dartmouth elects to call, what they get for yards with it, and how Framingham chooses to manage their timeouts. 13 on the play clock, so the Corsairs will snap this under 1:30. Going out of the shotgun, though.
And here's Slaughter. He's looking for running room. Gets it inside Framingham State territory down to the 49-yard line.
Stays in bounds, which forces Framingham to call a timeout. That becomes very important here.
But more importantly, it's the gain of 4 yards on first down. It's not like they're just getting stopped at the line of scrimmage. You get another 4, then you're in 3rd and 2. You're going to pick that up and you win the ball game. So
a lot of times it doesn't work out that way, though, Jim.
No,
I watched a lot of football in my day, and a lot of times that 4th down ends up happening. And so I talked about the punt being important earlier. I could see a punt being important again because you're going to have no time will elapse prior to this snap. So they'll run this play. If UMass Dartmouth plays it correctly, they'll get tackled in the field of play. It'll force the other timeout. That'll come, I don't know, 1:14, 1:15 left on the clock. So you run another play off of that. If we assume that's a run play and it doesn't go for the first down, which is just for the sake of discussion because that's the most interesting scenario. Say that happens, you're going to make that tackle, maybe about 1:05, 1:06 left on the clock. You'll take 35 to 40 seconds off from there, and then you'll run that 4th down play, whatever it is, will bring you down around 20 seconds Framingham could get the ball back with.
Here's Stephen Roy, and Roy's got himself perhaps a yard.
So
He'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
They use that timeout immediately, like I
Framingham State takes their 3rd and final timeout of the game.
So 1:15 left. Your average play in football takes 5 seconds. So you say this one ends at 1:10. They'll give you a 40-second play clock. Going to use most of that. Maybe UMass Dartmouth would call a timeout in the 30, 31, 32 neighborhood. And then you'll either pick up the first down and it'll be over, or if you have to punt, you'll punt. And then that's a longer play. That would take maybe about 10 seconds, perhaps 15 if you got a really good kick or a roll. And then Framingham would be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 seconds with no timeouts to try to make something wild happen. But that's the opportunity. That's the situation they put themselves in. Remember, Framingham's been playing from down almost this entire game. Corsairs scored twice in the first 7 minutes and 30 seconds. And they've not trailed for a single snap of this game. They've done a nice job. Although they never ran away with it, Jim, they've done a good job keeping the game in front of them all day.
So the Framingham defense, they're ready to dig in, and here comes the Corsair offense. 3rd and 5. Slaughter and Roy are the runners. Slaughter looking for room. He's going to lose a couple.
Which realistically, he wasn't going to pick up a first down on that play anyway. So the big thing is he gets down, doesn't fumble, and stays in bounds. Those are the things you needed for UMass Dartmouth. So now the Corsairs is going to take a long, hard look at this clock. Mark Robichaud's going to walk out to the official, and he's going to say, get me to 1 second, and then I'm calling a timeout. So you've got about a 28-second difference between these two clocks. That timeout will get called with either 28 or 27 seconds remaining on the game clock. And then with the punt, you're going to try to elapse as much time and gain as much field position as you can there. So a nice job by the Corsairs. Obviously, they got the boost from the penalty, but they went out, got themselves another first down. I told you were going to need 3 first downs to get to triple zeros. They didn't get the 3rd first down. And so now this is what you've got to do. You've got to find a way to wiggle your way out of the 28 seconds that remain. And if you get a good, clean punt operation, that really should get most of the job done here. Now, Framingham will probably sell out for a block, so you need a good clean snap, and you need the kick to be quick and high. That's more important than deep, given the field position that you've got. But the field position is good, Jim, so if you get anything resembling a decent kick here, you're going to be in a very desperate situation if you're Framingham when you do get the ball.
So let's set the stage here for you. There's 28 ticks on the Cressy Field clock. 4th down and 7 for UMass Dartmouth. They'll be punting the football away. And Miller will be the return man for Framingham State. So now Framingham, they come back on the field. They've got their instructions.
They do have a return man back, and interestingly, it's Miller who made the big play on the catch. We haven't seen him return kicks tonight, but he's back there to return this punt. He could certainly make something wild happen if he gets the ball in his hands.
Looking for the best athlete to get the ball. Here's the rush, no block. Miller botches it, picks it up. And Miller on the return gets it across the 20-25. He's got running room. He's at the 40-45. Look out! He may take it to the house! You got to be kidding me! Touchdown Framingham! And they're a point away from tying it up.
Does it count? He does the front flip into the end zone.
That's a touchdown, John, but
he scored, but I don't know if he'll be awarded the points because he flipped before he scored. Now, the fumble actually helps return men a lot of times because it causes over pursuit, and he very nearly fell twice there, but bobbling the ball really helped him because it let him slip past the kick coverage. We'll see. It all comes down to whether or not the touchdown counts because he goes into that front flip before he's in the end zone.
no, that's a touchdown. He crossed the goal line and flipped, and then they threw the flag.
After the play, unsportsmanlike
They say
conduct.
after the play, so the touchdown
Excessive
will count.
celebration, number 10 of Framingham State.
Now,
Penalty will be on the PAT, 15-yard
That's
penalty.
big because
if number 10 receives another unsportsmanlike, he's ejected from the game.
this drastically increases the difficulty of the extra point. You know, this is not the NFL. You don't have kickers that can routinely bang it through from 40 yards. And remember, they've moved the extra point back in the NFL. They've not done that in the college game. So a typical college PAT puts the ball at the 3, and you essentially have a 20-yard kick for an extra point. Now you're taking that, you're making it 35. So it's like a game-winning field goal. And remember, this would only tie the game,
Right.
because they missed on the last one.
Good snap. Kick is on its way, and the kick is good. It's tied up at 27. Are you kidding me with 6 seconds left on the stadium clock? And you have to give Framingham State a lot of credit. They put
Absolutely.
their best athlete
did.
back there
Said go make a play.
and go make a play.
Yep.
And he did it, which is outstanding coaching. And Miller's had a big game. But the things you see at this level in football, we've seen it twice on Scores. These kids watch too much ESPN. You know, there's 75 guys to make a football team, even though 22 plus the special teams. You can't make bonehead plays like that. This kicker has to make a 35-yard, Sean St. Marie, a 35-yard point after touchdown. After he missed a chip shot, they actually should have won the game. Had he
Right.
made an earlier
Sure.
extra point,
Sure.
now you're putting the guy at the 35.
And remember, the
And he makes it.
Corsairs had the doink in the first quarter. That
Yeah.
looms large now.
Exactly.
And really, all the advantages you had from that 20-point lead go out the window now. You're not going to win this game in regulation with 6 seconds left. So you're going to go into that overtime. It's an ultimate equalizer because the field position battle doesn't matter. It's the 25-yard line going in. Corsairs all of a sudden are an underdog again, which is a real shame.
Sean St. Marie to kick it away. 6 seconds to go. We're in a tie ball game. UMass Dartmouth had this game signed, sealed, and delivered not long ago. And hey, they are on the kick return. This is Stephen Roy, and time is going to run out here, and we are heading to overtime. Score at the end
That's the end of regulation.
of the completed game is 27 apiece, John. You're shaking your head. Are you all right?
Well, time will tell, but the Corsairs just had such a tremendous opportunity to put this one in the win column and failed to do it. I mean, you think about how many different advantages they had competitively in this fourth quarter. Now they're all gone. Now it's a completely even playing field going into the extra session, and that just really is massively in Framingham's favor.
It was 20-6 entering the fourth. Am I correct?
20-7.
20-7.
Yep. And 27-7 off of the touchdown run by Slaughter. And that big pass play, remember, they hit that big one to Miller, got them set up on that first touchdown drive. You need that first score to come quickly if you're going to make a big comeback, and that's what Framingham got. Made that really good decision to call the timeout at the end of the UMass Dartmouth drive with around 6:24 left in regulation. That saved them a lot of time. They ended up needing every second they could get at the end there, where they had run out of timeouts and the clock ran down to 20 seconds. And you know, it just comes down to needing to cover that one kick. The punt game has been the biggest problem for the Corsairs today, and it reared its very ugly head in the biggest of moments.
So we're set to overtime. For the folks at home, you want to explain how overtime works?
Overtime in the NCAA works as follows. You have this coin toss here, and it's a little different because there's no kickoff to decide. There is no kickoff in overtime either way. Both teams are guaranteed to possess the ball in either overtime. It's different from the NFL in that respect. Even if you give up a touchdown defensively, you would still get both teams get a chance to score on offense is what I'm trying to say. So you get the ball at the opponent's 25 going in, so it's conducive to a lot of scoring, and you can either, go field goal or touchdown depending on how your drive goes. It's 1st and 10, just like a normal game situation would be. And then the big thing, and we saw this in a game we had together many years ago against WPI, if it goes more than 2 overtimes, you're forced to go for a 2-point conversion in 3rd or later, and the officials will give their explanation as well.
What's the call? Tails is the call. I got heads. You want to toss? What do you want to do? No, you offense, defense, what end of the field? You want to go on defense, right? So you're going on defense, what end of the field do you want to go to? We're going on this side of the field. All right, put your backs here. You guys put your backs over here.
So you heard it there. The Corsairs want to defend first,
right,
and that's
Framingham State will be on
the
offense,
most common choice
scoreboard
of
side of the
college
field.
coaches.
Good luck to both teams.
Because if you're able to get your stop, you limit to a field goal, or you hold them with no points, then you know you can win the game when you've got the ball. So teams try to do that as often as they can. If you have the ball first, you get into a 4th down, it's hard to make the calculation of what to do, because a field goal might help you, it might not, depending on what happens after you have the ball. So it's a little bit like baseball extra innings in that respect, that the team that goes second has that, we'll call it a home field advantage, but it flips if you go more than 1 overtime. So say we need to go double overtime, then the Corsairs would get it first in the 2nd overtime, and then Framingham. How'd I do? Was that
You
right?
did great.
Okay.
You did great. 1st and 10. Rajensky has them set. Overtime here at Cressy. Framingham, their first attempt at it. And this is Wright, the ball carrier.
Remember, Wright's given them a lot of problems today. He's hit some pretty big runs. Looks like he'll be the feature back out there in overtime. Awfully just hasn't made it happen for the Rams this afternoon.
And he may be hurt because he hasn't been around here for most of the 2nd half.
And remember Miller, who just had the big kick return, but also Bean has been big trouble in the pass game, and they're the 2 interior slot receivers to the near side.
Rajensky throws, home run ball, far side, flag down, and this is going to go against UMD.
And Fuller's trying to say he engaged with me. He was drawing me into the contact. Also didn't look like a terribly catchable ball, but it comes down to anytime the official can see the back of your jersey, you're in trouble.
Colicchio was the intended receiver. We'll look on, John.
And I mean, Fuller just has to know better. This is a low percentage throw. This is very, very little chance of working. You just have to assume the position, get yourself turned around, show us your pearly whites.
Defense number 7, 15 yards from the previous spot. That's an automatic 1st down.
These Framingham quarterbacks consistently have not been able to make that throw long and wide today. So if you see one of those go in the air, no, the odds are going to be in my favor. I've just got to get turned around. I've got to be able to face the cameras, and that's going to prevent the penalty, because they're really throwing for a penalty in a situation like that, trying to get the flag, and he gave it to them.
1st and goal from the 9. There's Wright. Wright's cracked down inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line.
And Wright's being small paid off again there, because he was able to roll on top of a defender for a couple more yards. As you see, he gets wrapped up, but then he's able to spin over a blue jersey and pick up some extra yardage where a bigger guy would have his knee on the ground in the process of that.
2nd down and 3 from the 3.
There's also no clock in overtime. I should have pointed that out as well.
Wright stands to the right of Wojcinski. He's running to the left is Wright. Bounces it to the outside. He's going to go in for the touchdown. Untouched. So in overtime, they get the ball and they march it in and take the lead at 33-27. Sean St. Marie now will come in to attempt the point after. We'll look on.
Really just no contest. Wright extends the play down the line. Nobody gets wide. And he just walks in. First lead of the entire game for Framingham.
Well, St. Marie now with an opportunity to add on another point. The kick is up, and it is good. So Framingham takes the ball in overtime. Wright takes it in from 2 yards out. And that's the first time, John, they've had a lead in a long time in this one.
Comes at the most opportune time, though. Now anything shy of a touchdown for UMass Dartmouth is going to win this game for Framingham. So the Corsairs who have been, kind of playing in clock expiration mode for most of the second half on offense, have all of a sudden got to find a way to rev it back up and score from the 25 going in. And so you might see more of a passing attack from them now than you've seen tonight, because this situation lends itself more to passing. But remember, it's a short field. You're playing only 35 yards worth of depth. So there's less ground to cover when you're playing the game in tight like this.
Sheridan and Roy are your runners. First and 10 UMass Dartmouth, their first crack at it here in OT. And Sheridan out for a couple. That's it. Aaron Owens on the tackle.
Sheridan had lost his footing already as he was approaching the contact. Picks up only 1 yard on the play.
Mike Slaughter now in at one of the running back spots. Wears uniform number 1. Stephen Roy in there as well. Burnham looking. Far corner, throws it out there. Caught, touchdown! Bambos.
He's just been laying in the weeds all night, hasn't he? This rushing attack has been getting it done all night long. Bambos has just been waiting and waiting and waiting for his chance. Had an opportunity to get position, probably pushed off there, didn't get called, but he goes down and makes the grab in the end zone, and that's the important thing. And Framingham rather livid that didn't get called. So here we come again. This is another massively important extra point, and UMass Dartmouth is going to use its one allotted overtime timeout in front of it.
UMass Dartmouth makes their only timeout of this overtime period.
Corsairs can kick. If they make it here, we play a second overtime, and the Corsairs would get the ball again right away. If they miss, the game's over. Framingham wins. I always go back to the old Tom Osborne option in a situation like this. If you don't trust your PAT team, you're playing against a good opponent, you've got one chance to go gain 3 yards and win the game. Isn't that tempting a little bit? A little bit?
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit. You know, if you don't make it, it could ruin your season. You gotta go. Trask has been around. He's the point after touchdown guy, and I think
it's never a dull moment with you and me.
No, there's never a dull moment. They're going to go for it. They've taken the special teams out, and UMass Dartmouth is going to go to try to win the game.
And you wonder now, will Framingham call timeout to try to counter this?
Slaughter and Roy are your runners. And now
that's exactly what Framingham's going to
call the timeout.
Takes their only timeout of this period.
So now, do you stick to your guns becomes the question. They might have just done that to try to get Framingham to use their timeout. In other words, you'd hate to have, an icing timeout, take a good extra point off the board, then you come back out and you miss it. So that could just be a calculated decision. We want to get these guys to kind of panic a little bit, call their timeout. Now we'll come out and kick it knowing they can't call a timeout against it. That's a possibility. Or they could just come out and run whatever it was they had up their sleeve right there. They showed you more of a jumbo look there where they were packed in pretty tight with only the one running back, a much different look than they've shown you so far tonight. But we won't be bored by whatever's about to happen, that's for sure. And neither team has a timeout. You only get one. So this play is going to have to go right now.
Slaughter and Roy will be the runners. Slaughter wears number 1. Stephen Roy to the left. Burnham, 11, is the quarterback.
Not a kicker to be seen.
Everybody on one knee in the UMass Dartmouth sideline. Burnham. Trick play. Is he gonna make it? He's gonna make it! UMass Dartmouth wins it!
Yes!
That's Bambos! On a little trickery. And UMass Dartmouth has knocked off the kingpins of the conference. And it's been a decade and a half since they defeated Framingham State. In one of the best games we've seen here at Cressy in a long time. The offensive coordinator and the staff here at UMass Dartmouth, a gutsy call. I think most coaches probably would have went for the extra point. UMass Dartmouth, they've got a good ball club, John, and sometimes you got to look at your team and say, we got to beat these son of a guns, and we have the opportunity from 2 yards out. If we can't get it in from 2 yards out with the best running running team in the conference. And here we go with a little trickery.
Abby Bambos had been bottled up all night. As Ryan Struthers, the special teams coach, comes by, he's got the weight of the world off his shoulders, that's for sure. And so he's going out to join the celebration, but Bambos had really been worn into the fabric. There's been so many games we've done over the years where they've gone to him over and over and over in a game because he's such a terrific player. They want to get him the touches. These running backs have done the impossible here where they can make you forget he's on the field, which is just a crazy thought if you think about it. And he came up at just the right time, scored all 8 of those points. And we'll ask the question to Mark Robichaud ourselves, but this could be the biggest win, certainly in the history of his coaching tenure,
no
and
question.
one of the bigger ones in the history of this program.
Yeah, no question about that. As far as history of the program, they did go to the NCAA's.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
That's why I
said one of.
But one of the better wins that they've had, of course, under Mark's tutelage here, definitely without question. But he's recruited well, and you've heard me say this in private. You've heard me say this in the telecast. When you are not a full-time coach, it's hard to win. It's hard to recruit. The guy before him, he had a great staff, but there was a lot of guys that weren't full-time coaches. Then he takes the job, replaces somebody that was a really outstanding coach, but he's coaching as a part-timer, and the other guys are coaching against the full-timers. Now he's a full-time coach. You can see the kids are better. They're better coached. There's better recruits coming in here because you've got a full-time. He's full-time, and I believe he has a couple of the full-time staffers. So now you're on equal playing ground, and you just knocked off the kingpins. And hats off to Coach Robichaud and his staff in Framingham State. They're not used to losing, and they're just down on one knee as well as UMass Dartmouth kids were on that 2-point conversion. I didn't see that coming. As a former coach, I wasn't so sure that was the play to make. But also, if you want to show your team, look, I'm the coach. I'm going to show you how to win. And we got a chance to knock off the king, and we just did it. And this shouldn't just make the day. This should make your season.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, not just to make your season a win. Now you got to win out in the conference. You got to win out, and you're the champ.
No,
a good chance to be the champ.
Bill Raftery were here, he would have dropped an onions there as they threw the reverse on that play, but they get the score, they get the win, and we've got to do a full-on post-game down on the field now. We got to get down and join in.
Well, go ahead, my friend.
You got to come with me. I got some things up my sleeve tonight.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you got to be there.
I got to meet my wife for dinner, but if you're telling me I got to go, I'm going.
You got it. No camera on the field.
Oh, no camera on the field, so
all right,
I guess
that takes care of that.
Whatever was up your sleeve. As we look at the UMass Dartmouth football team celebrating a big win here tonight. And we're told that the production staff is wrapping up their camera coverage, whatever, so.
All right, well, I've got some things I want for you because we just had, I don't know if you realize this, we hit a milestone here recently in the last few days. You realize we've been calling these games together for 10 years? 10 years.
No, I didn't. I know I've been around a little longer than that, but.
First game we did together was in September of 2016, so I wanted to make sure that I remembered our anniversary. I got you a card.
Well, thank you.
Maybe you can read it for the audience.
I've been wondering what's in this plastic.
Also,
bag
you know, you've been saying in these games, fortunately we only had 2 of them today, but you've been saying for years, enough turnovers to open a bakery. So I stopped by the bakery and I got you a couple turnovers today. There's an apple one and a raspberry one. I'm not sure which one you like better.
Well, we do have a camera right to our left here.
Right.
Maybe the guys can show up here in the press box.
Show them your card. Come on. Take it out.
Let's see. We're waiting for the camera guy to see if he's going to swing the camera around. You folks in Dartmouth, you're really going to love this.
All right.
You folks in Framingham, not so much. Here comes the camera. Let's see if we got.
You got people trying to get out from behind you here, man. So
here we go. This is the turnover from John Cabral, and this is the card. 10 years we've been together, and I have to say that it's been a great 10 years working alongside you, and I hope I have 10 more years. And I do agree with you, my friend, that this was one of the biggest wins in the program's history, and not only proud to be your broadcast partner, but I think I've been doing these games since 2001.
Woo.
So I've seen a a lot of good football here, and look to continue working alongside my friend. I do appreciate. Is this a fresh turnover? Is it like an apple turnover?
There's an apple and there's a raspberry. Yeah.
Oh
so
my God!
go
You're
to
trying
it.
to make me healthy.
Absolutely.
You know, trying to make me
Absolutely.
healthy. So we're celebrating with food. I'm meeting my wife for dinner. How
There you
about joining
go.
us for a pizza?
Hey, how about it?
All right,
All right.
sounds good. A turnover for a pizza. Your final thoughts?
That's a good deal. Well, this is just it. You look at Mark Robichaud, you can see the fire in his eyes as he's talking to the Corsairs. This is what they've been working for 10 years themselves now, as they've been trying upon trying to get this win for this program to make themselves a legitimate contender in this conference. And that is what this game makes them. And not only did they get this win against the top opponent today, but today was one of those days where things were going wrong. We've seen the rug pulled out from under this squad so many times over the years. It happened again today. They were able to punch back, and they were able to get the victory. And that is how UMass Dartmouth was able to gain this victory here today. All right, welcome downstairs post-game here in the front of the bleachers. I'm joined by the two characters that brought that exciting conclusion that you just saw. Abby Bambos, who had the touchdown, the two-point conversion, and Mark Robichaud, the man that made the call. We'll start with you here, Coach. You had the touchdown scored, which brought you right to the cusp of it. Initially, you send the field goal team out there, but you call timeout. Then you send a crazy-looking formation out there. Framingham calls timeout. You had a chance to think it back over and a chance to maybe put the kick back out there. You elected to put the offense back on the field. Why?
Well, one, Framingham's offense, picked it up at the end. So we didn't want to give the ball back to them, put it back in their hands. And truthfully, every offensive coach and probably every offensive player was thinking the same play. That reverse to Abby, because Abby's such a great athlete, and Abby finishes, and we knew what was going to happen when we gave it to him. He did a great job. The entire offense did a great job selling it, blocking it, and this is just such a huge win for our program. It's hard for me to explain.
Now, Abby, you sort of faded into the fabric a little bit tonight because the running attack was working so well. There's been so many games in your career where you've gotten huge touches, 15, 20, and more. Didn't get a whole lot tonight, but you were there at the end when they needed you. So let's start with the touchdown play first. You guys had to score a touchdown to extend the game. You're in a bad down and distance. They go to you deep. You got the separation, then made the diving catch. What did you see there, and did you know that you were going to be able to pull that in as it went over your head?
I truthfully did not know if I was going to catch it or not, to be honest with you. But I trust my quarterback. Burnham, he's an amazing quarterback. And I knew, if he puts it up there, we always talk to each other during practice. He tells me, Abby, if it's going up there, you can get it. And that's all that mattered. That's all I thought about. I was like, if it's up there, Abby, just go and get it. And I knew, I just cared about the team. I cared about the seniors. I knew Framingham's never lost. Framingham hasn't lost in I don't know how many years. I think since 5 years. So it's that's all that kept going through my mind. This is my first time playing Framingham State. I didn't get to play them last year. So I just want to do this for the seniors, do it for the team, do it for the alumni, do it for everybody.
So when you ran the play, you knew it was coming to you. Before Framingham called timeout, was that the call on that huddle? Was it coming to you then too?
On the two-point conversion?
Yes.
No, it was not. It was not.
Wow. So you find out when you're on the sideline that it's coming your way. You've got to get yourself ready for the play, but you also have to make sure you don't tip your hand on a gadget play. How did you keep within your shoes long enough to not jump before the snap? And then how did you get just far enough outside to get across that goal line?
Honestly, the whole time I was thinking to myself, Coach Sylvester always says, just watch the ball. Wide receivers, just watch the ball, just watch the ball. So that's all I did. I couldn't hear because Framingham's sideline was loud. I couldn't hear anything, so I'm just watching the ball the whole time. As soon as I seen that ball snap, my heart's pounding. I seen Slaughter pitch me the ball, and I'm just going. I see the blue turf, and I just think to myself, this is your time. It's either now or nothing. You got to go in there and get it, and that's all that mattered. I just got it and got it.
All right, Coach, you alluded to it on your prior answer. This one's been a long time coming for you and your program. You've been building and building and building this program, the guys in the locker room, recruiting bigger classes, improving the facilities that are here, gaining excitement about the program, getting the alumni excited again. And you've been turned away at the doorstep a number of times here in the last few years to finally get the big win, especially in front of a home crowd, against an A-level opponent. What is this going to mean after today for your program?
What it means is that we have to keep working hard. I told the kids out there, this is a huge win for us, but that just means, we're back in again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. So we've got a short week. So against Bridgewater, we've got 12 hours to celebrate, and then we're back in here and we're getting ready to we can't give up. We can't let down one iota. We're going to win the rest of the way and see what happens.
Abby, you mentioned not being able to play in that game last year, but you guys were right there, had a chance to win it up at Framingham last year and didn't, and it really took the wind out of last October. What's it going to be like now in the locker room and on the practice field, knowing that you've got this big win and a chance to do big things here in 2016?
I mean, it's a big win. It's a great win. But at the end of the day, there's still other teams we have to play. So we're still locked in. We're still ready to go out there. We're still ready to compete. Like Coach just said, we have 12 hours to celebrate, and then 10 a.m. we're back at it again.
All right, we'll let you get the 12 hours started right now. You guys can get going. Congratulations and enjoy the win. Best of luck to you next week, Coach. We'll let you guys get out of here. We'll just slide JT in here to put a bow on it. Go enjoy it with your team. And Jim, that's as good a football game as we're ever going to see. What are your last thoughts on this fantastic contest that we just witnessed?
Well, I think what Coach Robichaud said is so true. It's a huge win for the program. Now you have to enjoy it for a couple hours, John. He's got to get his team tomorrow, watch film. It has to keep them focused as they look to take on Bridgewater next weekend. But you have to tonight sit back and relax as a coach and say, we finally knocked off the king. And we have an opportunity now to run out the season. If Framingham loses one more, it ends up in a tie. If Framingham loses one, you could be the champion of the conference, which they haven't been in many years out here. And I said it to you many times during these telecasts. I think a big part of this win tonight is the work that Coach Robichaud and his staff has done. But I think the program has gotten much better since the job is full-time. And I think that makes a big difference. I was a critic at times over the last several years, but since everything is on equal playing field now as far as the coaching staffs go within the league itself, this guy's done a heck of a job recruiting. He's got athletes here. He's got the best running offensive team in Division III football in New England, probably by far. They have 4 kids that can run it down your throat. And in the end, there's a running touchdown. They did it all night long. And in the end, they come up with a little trickery, which I wasn't anticipating. And I think as the head coach, I think he looked at his team and said, look, we have the chance to knock them off. Let's not tie it up. Let's go for the win. If I win, we're great. If I lose, I can stand in front of them and say, I have so much confidence in you. It's on me. I thought we could win the game because I knew you guys could do it. It worked in his favor. They won. Now, 2 things happen. One, the rest of your season, you got to play heads up. You got to play smart. You have an opportunity to win. The hardest thing to do now is to get your team not for the major letdown, because it's the biggest win in Robichaud's career and his entire coaching staff. So now they're going to have to coach a little bit differently, have to get their kids, bring them together and say, look, got to focus on the rest of the season. But as I said earlier, one of the biggest wins in UMass Dartmouth football's history, and especially recent history, it's the biggest win.
How about that from Jim Thompson? This is a guy who's usually turning into phase on 2 wheels by now. That's how pumped up he is about the win here tonight. Final score here tonight, UMass Dartmouth Corsairs 35, Framingham State Rams 34. Going to say that again one more time because everybody wants to hear it. Corsairs 35, Rams 34. UMass Dartmouth delivers the big knockout punch here at Cressy Field today. Corsairs now 3-2 on the year, but what a big 3 it is. So on behalf of Jim Thompson and everybody here at DCTV, thanks so much for watching. Remember, this game will be available on demand at CorsairAthletics.com. UMass Dartmouth with the big win on homecoming Saturday, and they're going to keep it going here in October.